will be on YouTube one of these days.
That's okay. Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. And did you say Rob Jones won't be joining us this morning?
He's still sick.
Oh, that's too bad. So, I'll start that, I guess, or I'll start there. He was sick last week when we had the walkthrough with Whatcom County that went really well. I think Whatcom was really impressed with the new jail construction. Kevin was there walking around with, there's a pretty good gaggle of folks. But they definitely got an earful and got to see how it was built, the efficiencies that are built in. And I think they were really impressed. It'll be interesting to follow their progress on their justice project and see how they do. I spoke a little bit with their representative from their health district, who is in charge of making sure they address behavioral health and how they're going to deal with that in the jail. So it'll be fun networking with her to see how Whatcom County is doing it compared to how we're doing it, and some of the other counties that have passed, sales tax initiatives and that kind of thing in order to fund a position in the jail to take care of behavioral health. But
so they have the city council method. They don't have like 3 commissioners any longer.
They have a council. They're a charter county.
Okay, I'm just pulling it up to see.
But more interestingly, so they've been trying for 12 years to get a 0.3% pass like we did.
Right.
They finally got it passed, but it was because they had a large group of community stakeholders, and they all have a seat at the table all the way through review, design, and operations of the jail. And I'm really glad we don't have a group like that. It's going to be really hard for them to get everything accomplished with 20 people or so. I don't know how big it is, but it's probably close to that. So this morning I walked into the courthouse's fire alarm going off, and apparently it did not notify EPD or the fire marshal. I will find out why. We had a gentleman come through an unlocked door of the courthouse last night at 8:15. Apparently the custodians did not lock the front doors to the courthouse. So he's a known individual. We just got confirmation on who he is. He's actually out running around in traffic right now. And he was wandering around and he was trying to figure out how to pull a fire alarm. Couldn't figure out how to pull one. Finally pulled this one down here. And I don't know, we'll let, if they go and talk to him. I think he was trying to notify somebody that the courthouse was unlocked because he took a big old chunk of EMT and stuck it through the door handles of the front doors that he came in.
What's EMT?
Electrical panel.
Pipe.
Or pipe,
okay.
yeah, sorry, panel, conduit. So he was kind of locking the door in his own way.
Okay.
So, I don't know if he was.
And there's no vandalism?
Not that we can see.
But the alarms didn't go off, didn't?
No, the alarms were going off. The
they
horns
just
and
didn't notify
horns and
anybody.
strobes were going when I walked in this morning, and I was
They
like,
didn't notify the
awesome.
police department.
So yeah, so we'll look into that.
Clearly,
But,
you're the first one to work then.
I was today, so yeah. Usually we get a call, and I know that they do notify the fire department because I've had calls from Afraid of Fire before saying, "Hey, we're about to take an axe to the front door because your fire alarms are going off. We can't get a hold of anybody." It's like, no, there's no fire. There's no fire. So.
Was it left open all weekend or just?
Well, if they didn't lock it Friday night, yeah. So Kevin is going to talk to him about that, and we'll go from there. We'll see what happens.
I thought at 6 o'clock we had pretty much a lockdown where the doors get locked.
So the front doors to the courthouse don't have the electronic door strikes.
Okay.
It's a key, so they failed to lock it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been locked in here.
Who typically locks it?
The custodians, because they're here until 11 o'clock at night, 11 or 12, and then they have one of their responsibilities to do a perimeter check and make sure all the doors are locked, because they do go out and sweep that. They go out, like down on the underneath the steps. They sweep and clean that and grab a garbage can there, and then they lock themselves in. And they're usually really good about it. The gals that are on the cleaning crew like to be locked in.
I would too.
So they're really nice. They're great folks. but yeah, they usually don't miss that. So but we'll follow up. So at the fairgrounds, I have published bids for the horse barn water additions, the electrical additions, and the slab for the new bleachers. Hopefully the bids for the fence line I will get out this week. Now the slab for the new bleachers, we can't order the bleachers from All Play. Okay, let me back up. The reason we're doing bleachers is because the Rodeo Association talked to Tom Dent, got a $250,000 direct legislative grant to pay for these things. Okay, but the CBRA, Columbia Basin Rodeo Association, doesn't have the authority to build anything that we're going to own and operate and maintain for the life of it on the fairgrounds. So we had to take that over. So we had a lot of hoops to jump through with Commerce, thought we had it all taken care of. And then I received an email from Commerce when I gave them an update and said, hey, you know, I'm getting ready to order the bleachers. And he goes, you don't really have the grant because you need to work with your sponsor and change the name in the state budget. OFM came out and said, since it's the ownership change between CBRA and the county has officially taken place, we don't know who to give the grant to. He goes, so right now you don't have a grant. And it's like, well, but our commissioners funded it, you know, regardless, thinking we were going to get this back. So I was able to talk to Tom Dent on Friday, and we had a couple of back and forths. He didn't think it was a big deal. He said this happens, and they were going to get the name changed in the budget, and he would let me know. So that was Friday afternoon.
Okay. If Tom said he'll do it, he will take care of it.
Yeah. So that should be taken care of. My bigger problem, though, with these bleachers is All Play Sports, who we're purchasing this through, they won't actually order the bleachers until we get an approved stamp from our building inspector that we can build them as designed, right? So they sent us the plans. I have to send it to building and planning and pull a building permit and get them approved. And then I send those approved plans back to All Play, and that's when they will actually issue for construction and order the bleachers. It's been over a month and I have not gotten those back from building and planning, and I've sent numerous emails. And the last email I got from the building department, Jerry Bissett, last week was, it's on my desk. If I can get through it today, then you'll have it tomorrow. And that was Thursday afternoon, and I don't have anything from them Friday. The issue is All Play is a really busy company. If I don't get those from Jerry, I'm really going to go rattle his cage today, because if I don't get them to All Play this week, we probably won't get the bleachers done this year. They won't be able to schedule it. So the work has already commenced out at the fairgrounds. The Rodeo Association is already working on some of the fence line there around the arena to try and so they can move the bleachers into the perfect position and that kind of thing. So it's going to be really disappointing if we can't get that done. So when I'm done with this meeting, I'm heading over there. Then I have a meeting at the PUD after that. But hopefully he'll have those done today so that I can send them back and I'll actually order them.
Very aware of the urgency of this.
Yes. So I didn't make him aware. Chris is doing great out there. The team's really working well together. I need to get with Jim on the food booth upgrades. And I also want to understand in the budget, Cindy, I know this was, I think this was something you'd brought up during the budget. Last year when we did the new ADA pathways, we went to the bathroom at Blue Gate, you know, the shared bathroom at Rodeo, and we stopped there. The ADA path this year, what's approved is we want to continue that path somewhere up to like Carolyn Fisher or the bathroom 3. So that's okay. All right. So that was put in Jim's budget, but I'm going to take care of that because in the horse barn water and electrical upgrades, we have to cut the asphalt to the barns to get to trench in the power and the water. So I'll make patching that part of that project.
Okay, and I can grab the, well.
No, I just wanted to make sure I was square. So before I put it out to bid, because that's what we were doing. So,
Yeah, well, and I don't know where it needs to be because we do have a path, but it's over on the grass and there are so many people that are walking from.
No, we'll find a good pathway because we have to.
Kevin would be aware of it too.
Yeah, well, as we pick it up there and intersect at that bathroom, and we go over to somewhere near bathroom 3, Carolyn Fisher Center Field.
Right.
we're navigating vendor parking spots, but we also have camping along that fence line.
Right.
So we don't want to put it too close to that, you know, so we're going to bring it out a little bit and probably do some.
Out into the gravel.
So it's the complaint. I'm trying to think, this is, yeah. It is, let me make sure I'm at the right.
Yeah, so we've got a path to here, so we'll grab it and
So
we'll make a path
some way
somewhere
through.
and tie it, because we paved all of this last year, so we'll probably do something there.
It's the gravel.
Yeah, it's deep
Instead of
gravel.
getting back over here, most of the people leave the rodeo and they walk right through here.
Yeah,
So you've got wheelchair strollers.
yeah,
wagons.
so we'll do something there.
Now, are you gonna pave that or are you gonna,
It'll be a paved
concrete?
path, yeah,
Paved path.
so, yeah.
So it's kind of another,
Yeah, the paving is quite a bit cheaper than concrete. So that takes care of the fairgrounds. For central services, I did have a successful bid opening for the CSHR building. The low bidder was, so the architect's estimate we thought was low at $850,000. Last year, I had asked the commissioners to double the funding. I was funded at $700,000. I asked them to give me $700,000 more, which was approved this year, which put me at $1.4 million. And we had 4 bidders. The low bid was $780,000 before tax, but he pulled his bid because it was non-responsive. He didn't follow all the bidding guidelines. He also did not include the HVAC, which was a $200-some-odd-thousand miss. And he added fire sprinklers, which was specifically excluded in the bid because the building doesn't need them. So he was at the bid opening, he saw the number, he got worried, and the guy dropping him off got worried, and then I called the owner of the company and I said, are you aware of this bid? He goes, yeah. He goes, we were getting numbers up into the last minute, and we know it was really screwed up. I was gonna call you in the morning. I'm like, so you're pulling your bid? He goes, yes, I'm absolutely pulling my bid. I said, okay. That meant the next low bidder was Cascade Central Construction out of Wenatchee. And their total bid is $1,133,000. The difference between number 2 and number 3 was only $9,500. The number 2 bidder was $1,133,000. Number 3 was $1,142,000, and the 4th bidder was $1,270,000. Which
so it's all pretty close. Okay, and what was this?
it was
for?
all pretty close, yeah. So I'm sorry.
What was this for?
The Central Services HR remodel next door.
Okay.
So. So with no objections from the board, I will begin to contract with that company. That contract will go through legal and stuff like that, but with the board's permission, I'll go ahead and get that contract written and extended to them, and then get brought before the board. So any objection from?
no?
Okay. All right, so that takes care of the Central Services building. The morgue, Kevin and I have spoken a couple of times about this, and about the process and the land. I don't really have the time to keep chasing the properties. I'd like to just focus on the port properties and close a deal if we can moving forward. If that's agreeable to the board, then I'll move in that direction and continue to talk to them. Did you get a chance to go out there and look at those properties again, or?
I did look at that 10-acre piece.
Yeah.
I think that one makes the most sense, in my opinion, because you want additional property for,
Whatever.
potential buildings or storage or whatever. I mean, it's off the beaten path. Still has good access. It's easy to find. But I did tell the port that I wanted it, leveled and cleaned up at least.
Okay. All right.
If that's what we end up doing.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, Cindy, I'll follow up with the port on that and continue to work some negotiation there and move in that direction. And we can consider a site found for the morgue, which will make Craig really happy. And following on to that, also with the board's permission, what I'll do is I'm planning on, we were going to hard bid this project, which I'm increasingly thinking is going to be really difficult to do, especially from a speed standpoint. We can do this project the same as we're doing the jail with a general contractor construction manager. We already have an architect assigned. So as long as I can get my application into the PRC and do my presentation and get awarded the ability to do that before the architect gets to 30%, then we can go ahead and do an RFQ and select a general contractor who will then work and make sure that we're being as efficient as we can, and as cheap as we can. So if the board is okay, I'm going to do that the same way with this, especially since it's kind of unique and it's medical. So it should be an easy sell at CPARP and the project review committee. But I think from a financial and a speed standpoint, I think that's going to be the best way for us to go.
Least expensive way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's least expensive, but it's the fastest.
None of it's cheap.
Yeah, well, so at least the problem with hard bidding it is unless the plans and the scope and the specifications are absolutely perfect, then we're going to deal with the issue of change orders. And that could be anything from geotechnical and that dirt and that ground out there all the way up to specialized medical equipment in the autopsy suites and that kind of thing. So I'd like to try and avoid that. So I will move in that direction.
Okay.
Um,
For running that down,
It's been kind of a long deal, yeah. So, so this week, obviously Thursday, Rob and I take off and we're going to DC. I'm going to be here today, tomorrow, and half the day on Wednesday. And then I'm going to take off because I've got some things I have to get done at home before I take off for a week. And then, I'm really pushing to get some stuff done here before then. As far as our trip goes, we do have a hard scheduled meeting on Tuesday with Congressman Newhouse. If there's anything you would like us to ask or bring up or talk about, I emailed Mr. Newhouse and Mr. Baumgartner, my congressional representative, and said I'd really like to talk to both of you, talk about the different issues that, I'm always hearing the planner talk about, I hear commissioners talk about, I hear at WASAC, all the things that are happening in CDs 4 and 5. How can what help do you need from us and what can we do to help you, come back here at the county level and, promote whatever it is we're trying to do, whether that's on solar,
I think that's been the biggest thing, solar and our transmission lines.
Yeah, transmission and power, all of those things. They have the same issues in Spokane County and, CD5. So out of all of the congressional districts, there's only 2 that are Republican, and those 2 guys are it, and that they're in each other's hip pockets. And I don't think that he and Kathy were working very closely together when Kathy was in office. And I'm just really hoping, that they would work together. My issue is I can't get my own representative to email me back. I had all kinds of comms with Mr. Newhouse. He had no problem emailing me, even knowing that I was not in his district. Now, through the entire election process, I had no problem at all getting in touch with Mr. Baumgartner. And I'm getting plenty of his emails asking me to go to his Bombtoberfest and pay this and pay that and go pound on doors for him. He was even, believe it or not. So I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Rob had sent me an email and said, hey, can you get tickets to the president's thing? I'm like, what's the president's thing? I wasn't thinking about it. We got an email from the conference saying, stand by, security all over DC is going to be really tight because of the president's address to Congress. It's the State of the Union. I didn't even think of it. I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. So I talked to Congressman Newhouse. They don't have any tickets left. But Mr. Baumgartner was at my kid's school and met my son, who's a teacher, and said, well, we're looking for civics teachers that we can invite to the State of the Union. And my son was like, oh, that'd be awesome. And I'm like, wait a minute, how about a civic teacher's dad?
Well,
I'm already going to be there. It's not going to cost you anything. But I've emailed him probably 7 times in the last 2 months, and his district leader who lives here has emailed me back and said, yeah, stay in touch so we can figure it out. I know you want to get a meeting with him. And it has been absolutely crickets. It's really disappointing because I know he's going to ask us to go and pound on doors for him and things like that. So, but I know for sure we're going to meet with Mr. Newhouse, which is good. So Rob and I'll do that.
So I think in my ag world, the biggest concern, and it doesn't impact just like Grant County, it's pretty much statewide, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, is that plant that they're putting down, the Dairy Gold plant they're moving from the west side over to Tri-Cities. They're running out of funding. They don't even know if it's going to be, they're going to completed, and it basically, it's a co-op, so it's on the backs of these dairy farmers that are struggling.
A lot of them have closed because of it. Because they can't-
So they're like, don't think you're gonna grab your milk from Idaho or Oregon because they all ship to Dairygold. So you're gonna have a really big problem if you don't get some help, so.
Well, and it's going to be interesting. So it was, I'm also, one of the reasons we're going, I'm on the Military and Veteran Services Committee with NACO. So we're having our annual meeting there, and there's a lot of questions about Doge. The seventh legislative district had their annual meeting this Saturday, so I was there. And there are a number of people who are asking, they have quite a few veterans there. And they said, well, we even understand that they're going to change the rules on military retirements, that if you retire after 20 years, you get benefits for 20 years. You don't get it for life. I'm like, I haven't heard that at all, but I can ask that question while I'm there, So I'm going to talk to Anthony and see if there's anything he's heard, if he's heard concerns from veterans or anything like that. Any rumors I can dispel, or we get straight from the source, because that's where it's going to come from. So I'll be doing that. I'm also trying to get a hold of somebody at Homeland. I got an email early this morning from somebody on the west side that's working on an election integrity. And she's really up in arms about Senate Bill 5014, the Albert censor and all that stuff. I've been in contact with Rob Kaufman, and nobody at Ferry County, but Rob Kaufman in Lincoln County, Commissioner Kaufman. But her email indicated that Doge has taken its aim on Homeland Security with the new, with Kristi Noem, and that CISA has been defunded to some degree, including the NGO that does all of the monitoring of the Albert sensors. So now this thing you were forced to put into your data centers that has 24-hour monitoring is no longer being monitored, which, now you've got this legislation out there that you're forcing every county, the last three, to do this. And now all of the other counties are now going to have to pay up to go and do that. Or they can come back with the $80,000 gift that they were only giving to 3 counties and now make that, available to all the counties so that they can now all go and put in their election security, which, if you're securing your data center, that's not a bad thing. If you're making sure that you're as safe as you can possibly be, that's not a bad thing, but it's not cheap to do that, so, and they should be willing to pay for that. If they're going to put that law out there, then they should give all of the counties the money to do that the best the way that they know how, so anyway, so, but again, like Michael Baumgartner's office, Homeland Security has been crickets as well, so I can't get anything back from them either, so I'm not surprised. I might be like the Democrats that just go pound on doors. Let me in. So, but if I can rattle a cage, I will. Other than that, I've got nothing. I'm sorry. I would have had more for you, but I was dealing with the fire alarm this morning and that kind of stuff. So that's what I was able to put together. That's my 5 bullet points.
Well, enjoy NACO. So when do you guys leave?
Thursday morning.
Okay, and then when do you come back?
The 4th, March 4th. So.
Which is calendar, March 4th. Oh, Tuesday. So, okay.
Yeah. So on a reason, so the conference, if you look at the dates, the conference actually kicks off we're leaving Thursday. It actually kicks off on Saturday, but Friday is an all day. It's an 8-hour information symposium for IT directors and chief information officers. And it's just 8 hours on how cybersecurity is affecting counties and what they can do and all the various resources. And there's breakout groups and stuff. And it's an 8-hour session that I had to register for separately. That's why if you look at the costs for my trip to NACO and Rob's, there's like $140 difference. That's the difference because I had to pay to be in this course. And then there's the schedule is a good 40 pages long, and a lot of it is on cybersecurity and IT for county networks, things like that. So I'll be doing a lot of that along with the Military Services Committee. And there's a lot of stuff just got to figure out. When I look at the schedule, I see a lot of things where county commissioners would get a lot out of it if they went. It'll be interesting to kind of vet this, bring it back and tell you two you know, what we saw. There is a Western States Caucus that Wes McCart was the chairman of, and obviously he lost his election. So I know that they're going to be electing a new chair for the Western States Caucus this year. And it's, you know, it might be interesting, you know, if you wanted to be a part of that and just see how much information they have and, you know, how helpful they are. It should be an interesting conference. So.
Where is it at this year? Colorado? Or?
It's, well, no, it's in DC. We're
no, the Western.
I think next year it's going to be in Las Vegas.
It's in July.
Yeah.
It's in July.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I mean, it's not something I would go to. It doesn't, you know, being on the Military Veterans Services Committee, I would go to the annual, you know, but just the regional ones, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, and the regional one kind of, you talk more of what's going on in your.
Very specific to those needs of the Western states.
Gone to that, and
Yeah.
It's really, it's
Yeah.
expensive, but you do.
Somebody was mentioned something about a fifth turbine that could be put in up at Grand Coulee Dam. You know anything about that?
No, but I that's something I can ask about.
I'd be interested to hear why that's not being done,
Yeah.
if it's even true.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of power. We just don't have a means of getting it to where we need it to go. It's the transmission lines that we're
Yeah, that's the
struggling
biggest-
with.
biggest issue.
And again, I've tried to reach out. I don't know who's who in Grant County, right? As far as PCOs and things like that. But you know, I would definitely extend the invitation. We don't often get to go and sit down with our elected, you know, congressmen, right? But if there were questions that somebody wanted asked, I mean, I'm more than happy to be the messenger for that and get whatever I can, you know. So.
Yeah, I think we pretty much touched on the things that are biggest concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dairy gold plant is not here.
Maybe between now and Wednesday, if we get 5 minutes or so, I can talk to you more about that so I understand it better. I know it's a big deal. It's
And he should be aware of it since it's in a lot of dairy farms in his district, but for the most part, because it's a co-op. But you know, when they're giving 100 million here, a couple $100 million here, you know, right in Grant County and Moses Lake, and then we've got.
Yeah, there's dairies that are shut down because of it, because they would take half their check to help build this facility.
What they're doing.
Wow. And they just can't afford that. Wow.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it is 8:58. We are in recess until 9 o'clock. Good morning, it is 9:02. We are here with Jim from Development Services for our weekly update. Welcome, Jim.
Good morning. Thank you, commissioners. Yeah, so update from Development Services for this week. Last week we were not here because obviously holiday, President's Day. The week before I was out of the office at a rangeland conference, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the update. But so topics for building division updates. So we're working on a revised job description for the building official, and we're working with HR. We'll get that posted this week. That position has not been a standalone position for the last 3 years. So there was a lot of opportunity in the previous job description for some revisions and some change, specifically in and around the fire investigation component is still in that building official description. So we need to strike that, make some changes. So we're working through that. I am preparing a proposed organizational chart for presentation to the board, so be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks. I am asking, we've got some ICC training up in Leavenworth, that annual training event that is being conducted on the 12th, 13th, and the 14th. I would like to send all my inspector and plans review staff on the 13th and 14th. For discounted continuing education credits. So what that looks like and what we've done in the years past is we have closed down inspections for those 2 days. Office will not be closed. The planning department will still be there, and we'll have one permit tech downstairs. But the inspectors and the plan review staff will be up in Leavenworth getting some continuing education training. So if the board's okay with that, we'd like to continue.
13, 14.
In March, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
From the planning division side, like I said, went to Rangeland Conference a couple weeks ago, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. to be honest, I wasn't looking forward to that conference because I really didn't know what we were going to get out of it, but I was really glad to have gone. You know, it's exactly what it says it is. It's a national rangeland conference, so I felt like I was on the set of Yellowstone most of the time. But really, there was a lot of academics there as well. Mostly Oregon State University professors, and really, and our consultant was there as well, who is working, helping us through our shrub step mitigation bank. And they have been pretty adamant in trying to help us set up that bank, that grazing was going to be off the table, and I felt otherwise. That I don't know how you're going to sign up private landowners to a mitigation bank and remove grazing from the equation. And we heard time and time and time again from actual folks, ranchers that were running cattle on their rangelands that had shrub step, that it can actually be done and be done well. So really great takeaway from that conference. And we connected them with some actual cattle ranchers that they can continue to have dialogue with. So it was pretty positive. I was pretty stoked actually coming out of that thing. So we're 3 weeks in, item number 2, 3 weeks into having public works staff in development services building. That's going pretty good. So we've got Zach there doing plans reviews for public works inside of our office, also helping planning staff with questions that they might have as they come up, both on the telephone and as we receive applications for short plats and long plats. Plus, Zach's been able to help with the counter when customers have come in. So it's been great. So far, so good. So more to come on that one.
How's the interaction with the health district? You know, because we
Yeah.
talked about how are there, sometimes they've been out for the plan review. Are there, and I know Stephanie's been working to kind of tidy that up and
Yeah.
expedite that. How?
It's been good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we're gonna, and in future updates, we'll provide future updates on some process changes that we're going to make. Of course, there's been a lot of changes over the course of the last couple of years that have not made a whole lot of sense inside of the building that we're going to fix. And one of those is in and around how we deal with finalizing inspections when it comes to the health district. In that the health district, when they approve a building permit, they apply conditions to the final inspection, and we have been jumping over the top of those in an attempt to final that building permit ahead of the health district, and that's caused them some concerns, and we're going to stop doing that. We're going to hold back that final approval until the health district has completed their conditional approvals, so as to hold that applicant accountable. And I think it's going to go a long way with health. So, but preliminary review, you know, it's always, we do a really good job of coaching up the applicant to continue to check in with health, because again, they're, you know, of course, that one of the 5 agencies that's required approval in order to issue the building permit. And now we have all 4 of them in our office, which is a great thing. So customer comes in or calls and is looking, you know, where am I at on my building permit? There are 4 faces that they can talk to in this building. Health, of course, being the 5th that we don't have control of yet, but it's going okay.
I like that. We don't have control of it yet. See,
Yeah.
we could if we wanted to.
Exactly. We had our climate resiliency element, you know, that new element of our comprehensive plan. We had the kickoff last Thursday. We had 20 participants in that kickoff meeting, which was really exciting. We had members of both private and public entities. We had planning staff from Moses Lake. We had planning staff from the city of Ephrata. We had Potato Commission there. We had Chamber of Commerce was there. We had, we had irrigation districts. Really really wide variety of folks participated in that first kickoff. So we'll see how the continued participation goes once they're given homework, but so far so good. So pretty excited about that. We have a kickoff this Tuesday to get started on our agricultural lands analysis. So more to come on that one. That's going to be a pretty deep dive into our current agricultural lands and what that's going to look like going forward, reshaping both the rangeland, dry land, and irrigated agricultural lands, and those smaller parcels is what we're after. We're after the analysis that was done in 2018 was decent. It was a good one, but it didn't take into consideration those 5 and 10 acre parcels that were left in irrigated ag that are continually every single year wanting to be converted to like rural remote or RR1 that have RR1 that are adjacent to RR1 that didn't make any sense that they were included or left in irrigated ag. That, of course, every time they make a site-specific comprehensive plan amendment application, the Department of Commerce comes back and says, of course, no. So I think we could have done better, and those are the lands we're going to address. This analysis is going to have a period. It's going to be web-based, where we're going to do the initial analysis, and then we're going to go out to the public, and public is going to have an opportunity to weigh in. Now, of course, we're going to have those people that are going to say, I want to be, UR2, deep density, in the middle of, rural county. We can't obviously do that, but there's going to be a comment period where they get an opportunity to give us some feedback. So, and then this week we have hearings examiner this Wednesday. It's an odd month in that normally they're at the beginning of the month, but we had a lot on the agenda that we couldn't let slide until next month. So we moved the meeting to later this month and earlier in the day. So this Wednesday at 10 o'clock, or normally at noon, but at 10 o'clock, we've got the hearing examiner here. We've got a daycare facility on the agenda. We have Justin Brown's Cascade Milling out in Royal is on the agenda. We have the city of Moses Lake has a water tower on the agenda out in May Valley. That one's been in the works for quite a while, so we're excited to get that one done. And then we have Hawthorne Renewable Energy at the Appledale Energy Center, that 400 megawatt large scale solar facility out in Cindy's district is on the agenda. Not really sure if we're going to fill the room on that one. They had an open house about 4 weeks ago. It was pretty lightly attended.
Where's that going to be at?
Is this the one that was on the comp plan, the D?
No.
Okay.
No, this one, no, they didn't have to do a zone change on this one. This one is located right on the edge of the county up there in Quincy, just in the northwest corner of the county. 400 megawatts. It is.
Who's putting it in?
Huh?
Or who's the land?
It's mixed. It's a mixed ownership.
Okay.
So it's right up here.
Okay.
Where's that meeting going to be held at?
It'll be right here in this room.
So,
Yeah, it'll be right here in this room. So we'll come over early. Probably spread some chairs out in anticipation that that it'll be attended. We went out 5 miles on this one. Normally, we only have to notify owners within 300 feet of the property boundary, but these are such large sections that wouldn't have done anything. So we notified within 5 miles, which caught all of Crescent Bar, and then of course surrounding property owners into Quincy.
if I don't have jury duty, I'll come down.
Okay. Yeah, so there was 800 notifications that went out.
Oh, wow.
So
Haven't got a lot of feedback, I'm on the project planner, didn't get a lot of feedback, not a lot of negative feedback. So not expecting it to be contentious at all, but it should, we'll be prepared, so.
Okay, well, they've got quite the webpage here.
Yeah.
Okay, they're pretty big.
Yeah, so that's
Okay, I've
what,
seen some emails going back and forth. Is that from Larry Scoutman? Was this
Yes.
concerning this? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
yep, that is, yep, and Brian, we're gonna jump on a call with Brian this week and see if we can get our land use attorney connected, so.
Okay.
That's what I-
Where is the daycare located at? Whose district?
It is in your district as well. And
Is it in Ottawa?
it is in Quincy.
Okay.
And they've been working hard at that one. That was, they're doing a good job with it. She has another facility in the city of Quincy too, so
Okay.
this will be her second one.
Well, typically if they're getting a permit and going in front of the hearings examiner, they're getting all the paperwork.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, it's been a process for them, a little bit easier in the city, but anyway, they've done a good job working with the health district on it, so.
okay.
All right, everybody, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you.
Jerry, how are you?
Good, how are you, Jim?
So, thank you, Jim. It is 9:15. We are here for the Commissioner's Office update. Rolling right into our next meeting.
Good morning. The first 15 are the clerk's update. Caitlin will be down shortly. And then the second half, it's Veterans Time for the fourth Monday of the month. So
Well done.
first thing on my agenda is the pending decision spreadsheet. I've printed it for your meeting tomorrow so that you can have that for then. For tomorrow. Okay. New incidents claims received. I have not received any. And I'm pretty sure that Blair will start taking over that portion of my agenda, so he'll be talking to you about that. Boards and committees updates, ma'am.
We have received most of the ballots back for the left one election. So the board will review that at their next meeting in March. And then again, the appointment letter would be before you guys the following week. And that one is an election, so it is like the, recommendation to sign the appointment letter,
Okay.
but.
And
that
that's
would
how
go
they're dictated on their bylaws?
For the
or-
RCW,
Okay,
yes.
RCW, thank you.
Yep. And then the at-large position, the applications for that will close this week. And then again, at the next board meeting, they'll review those applications, and that one would be a recommendation to appoint. That's what I got for that one.
Perfect. Okay, review of upcoming public hearings. There are none for next week, so that's none. Review of this week's meetings, and I put and future meeting schedule. So I know Rob had mentioned about keeping this 15-minute meeting schedule until the end of the month, but he's not here to discuss that. And then you have no meetings next week because we don't have a lack of a quorum. But Rob had mentioned calling in for the Tuesday 2 p.m. meeting so that you and he could manage that, but he's not here to confirm with, so.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to send out an email to all elected officials and department heads letting,
Okay, visit with Tom because he does have a meeting on Tuesday with our Congressman Newhouse. So
Yeah, that'll be.
please confirm with Tom, because Tom has a schedule for next Wednesday, or next Tuesday, sorry.
oh,
'Cause it may
that's
be
what I was
at the
hoping
same
that
time.
Rob was
Okay,
going to.
Tom's gonna be out at Nico as well.
So,
Yes.
He just mentioned that they're meeting with Newhouse on Tuesday. So
Okay,
then
so we
they'll
don't
be
know.
Right there at 2:00.
Yeah, okay, so I will confirm with Rob if he comes in today or calls in. Okay, so I won't send out that email yet until I know if the 2 p.m., but all the other meetings are canceled for next week, so. I guess we'll wait to discuss that too, because on the consent for today is the ordinance amending your schedule, whether or not you want to flip-flop HR with your meeting So I don't know if you've had any further discussion on that, but you guys could talk about that and make that decision. That is all, a couple things that were not on there. Cindy, I reached out to Susie Fody about those consortium meetings, CCR. She mentioned that we were gonna put them on your calendar, but you hadn't been to one in a while. So she wanted to know if you wanted them on your calendar.
Yeah, I haven't seen them on my calendar. So
Because they
if
keep
they're-
changing, they're going, they're not.
Because they
and-
haven't had one for a bit. Yeah, there's not a conflict, but I think one of the last times they had it on, it was area aging, the same. Or something. It may have been a jail tour.
And they meet only 4 times a year. She said, so you can mention that to Cindy and see if she would
Yeah,
like.
no, I just, if it's on,
Okay.
I just haven't.
Okay.
Is she sending the appointments or do they come
Yes.
through? If they're not.
But it was confused because she sent an email called CCR. And I'm like, what is a CCR? And so apparently that's the same thing as consortium. I did not know that.
If I have a CCR.
Okay, well, I will put those on your
Yeah. typically
calendar
they
for the
would.
year. Okay. I'll re-add that there.
Thank you for following up on that.
The rodeo reached out. They're ready to get their booklet going again. So the board needs to make another day to do a picture and then draft up the verbiage that you want for the rodeo program. So we need to do this by, it's now March, so beginning of April. So I'll look at your schedule and see when we can calendar appointment to take a picture. We had the camera, didn't we, upstairs?
Should have a
I
camera.
think so. Yeah, I think there's a VOCC camera.
The VOCC has a camera?
We did. Miss Caitlin, do you have anything that you would like to?
Yes, I received the invoice from the Columbia Basin Herald. Did you want to talk about that now? Potentially have that as a walk-on? Do you want to wait until next week?
I think we need to get it taken care of.
Okay,
I mean, I'm sure they're wanting to get paid.
so Kevin met with Bob and Sean from tourism, Bob from Columbia Basin Herald last week, and they talked things through. So unfortunately, I was not there for that meeting. So Kevin, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like we are moving ahead, paying the entirety of the invoice. Is that correct? And they're just correcting the digital version?
Yeah, they agreed to make changes to the digital version as we asked. But they wanted it all in one email or one group. They didn't want it piecemeal. They want it all done together. And then they would make those corrections. He did say that they spent like $56,000 doing that book, and they felt that because they went out and got the other additional $16,000, that we should at least pay them. And, I mean, I agree, although I didn't agree with the quality of it, and I don't think the tourism committee was very happy with it either. And we made that very clear with them that it's not going to happen again next year. If they do decide to go back with the Herald, that the Herald and the committee will send us, the Board of County Commissioners, a copy of the print that's going to go out before it goes to print, so that we can give our blessing as well to prevent this from happening again. That's where we left it.
Then would you like me to add also the invoice for certified folder? They're the ones that distribute the magazine. Do you want me to just add that as part of this walk-on?
Was this on the agenda last week or was it 2 weeks ago? Or has it been on the agenda?
The Columbia Basin Herald has not been on the agenda at all. You might have seen the certified folder one. It was part of Rochelle's invoices, but it was scratched out because they did not want to pay for magazine distribution until they knew how this was going to go.
Yeah, actually, I think we had Rochelle in here. So,
Okay, so it'll be a walk-on tomorrow.
Yes, I'll have it.
Okay, I will make a little note here so you don't forget. I'll try to remember.
And then as far as the ordinance, item number 9. I just wanted to gently remind you guys that part of the conversations about it was with the HR updates, because it's the whole, taking action during their meetings and public comment and yada yada. I have not heard back from Rebecca about the legal advice about that, but you guys do have a prosecuting attorney's update today, if you maybe want to bring that up then, just to see if she's had time to review that and give her opinion.
Item number 9.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
I was reading, there was, in that verbiage, there's still stuff in there about COVID. Is that necessary that stays in there, or is it something that could be removed?
I can have Rebecca look at it. We were just going to change the time, so we just kept everything else the same, but we could definitely have her
I
redo
just,
that.
not that it's a big deal, I just don't know that it's necessary that we have that in there.
Yep.
Since it's a thing in the past.
Kevin, you're on the health district board. You know that the COVID is coming back with a surge of.
I did have a gentleman call me over the weekend about the Franklin County thing,
I did watch that part.
asking me whether Grant County is gonna follow suit. I'm like, I haven't heard anything, so it's be news to me. Not that I'm aware of.
They haven't reached out to staff yet to schedule that meeting, so I don't know.
I'm sure it'll come up.
Did you have anything else?
So I'm still trying to catch up a little bit from being out last week. The addendum, the Q&A addendum for the homeless housing strategic consultant RFP will be posted this Wednesday by the end of the day. And then they'll have until March 12th, I believe, at 3 p.m. to turn in their final proposals. And then I'll be working with Rob. I believe it'll be the homeless housing task force that'll be reviewing the proposals that come in. It does seem like there's a good handful of people that are interested in it, so that's exciting. I think that's it.
Who scans in these agendas?
That was me on Friday. She said somehow it got, when I looked at it,
So Barb,
can I look at it? Because my
I just
computer's
wanna
not
ask you,
working.
the next time,
Yes.
just make sure all the papers are upside right.
On the agenda or on the consent?
The consent.
Oh.
So the AP batch is upside down, right side
Yeah.
up,
Well,
upside down.
you get some that are straight, or
That's funny.
upside right, some are
So
upside
that's
down.
interesting.
So then you just gotta go flip them all over, and it's just
Did
And
it
then-
come here?
She was making sure that you
I
were
don't
looking
know
at
if
it.
now's the time to ask this question, but there was, United Rentals on the list of bills to pay. It's showing the same exact numbers twice.
On what?
Is that the AP batch?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's.
Actually shows twice. GP stupid.
Oh, that's the Grant Carey's grant.
It's not the one. It's for United Rentals. It's like $3,700.94, but it's on there twice. I'll find it and I'll let you know.
Okay. Carrie's working from home, so you can always email her as well. She was logged in earlier today too, but she's attending.
Probably. You have 7 participants.
Yes, if you want to
discuss that, Kevin? We can,
Well, I just want to make sure that it's not being paid twice, the same invoice, and it's taken out of the account twice.
we can reach out to Carrie.
You want to follow up on my CCR meeting? I also had a craft meeting, a craft conference that I signed up. Why? And then area aging, so, okay, but now I know what CCR is
I know,
instead of,
it
and it actually
Is
used to
something
be
else.
domestic violence sexual assault consortium, so.
They've renamed it according to
will-
its
Excuse me, I get it.
response.
But it is on my calendar, I just didn't realize what it was.
So Barb, that's on page 8. It's United Rentals. And it's the same invoice number twice, same amount twice.
Okay, I will reach out to Carrie and find out what that is, if that's a duplicate.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that, if that's what it was. Do you have any questions for Caitlin and I before we turn it over to Veteran Services? Okay.
Caitlin, just FYI, Tom will be touching base with you to get some treasures. So we bring
Yes.
back. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, jeez. Here for moral support.
Okay. So does it go out in the?
I have to change that picture.
So.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Garcia with Veteran Service Update, and I have Jerry Gingrich here, the chair of the Veterans Advisory Board Committee. Just doing a quick update with everything that's happened since we've moved in. For numbers wise, we are getting a lot of walk-ons, which is great. That site is very known already because a couple years back, the Veterans Coalition was there. And then especially Hope Source being there. Hope Source, when someone comes into them that's a veteran, they immediately point them to my door. So walk-ins are great. Claims were not.
So Hope Source is in that complex?
Yes, Hope Source is right next to me,
Okay.
right next door. So whenever they have a veteran in need,
Michelle, you are at,
Was it at 9:45?
yours at 9:45.
9:45.
Thanks.
yeah, so Hope Source is right there next to us. So when they have a veteran, immediately the first they do is send them my way. And from there, if I have time or if I'm busy, I'll give them a card with an appointment on it. So this way they can come back. But I definitely try to make time for those that Hope Source is also dealing with, because if they're at Hope Source, they're kind of in need immediately. But yeah, so now that now that I'm in office, claims have been going back up to where it was, where about those 2 months where I was here in the break room, claims definitely took a hit. So my numbers for retro pay the last couple months are not that high compared to what I'm usually looking at. Right now, my retro pay is $107,000. Usually that's a little bit more, but because I did take 2 months while they were making my new office, my numbers did go down. But now that I'm there, hopefully my numbers come back up. Year to date, almost $3 million for retro pay. So from when I started back in June to now, I'm getting close to that $3 million in back pay. Monthly passive income, so money that's coming into the county with all the claims that I've already done is $285,000. So every month, veterans that have come to seek my services and our claims compensation are getting that as a total. And that number increases every time I get an award back from the VA. So that's great. The Veterans Assistance Fund, since starting this year, we've only used $10,000 of it. I broke it down to rent, utilities, food assistance, burials, and vehicles, what that veteran needed at the time. For the office, I'm working with HR now to get that additional position. We were gonna get it on today, but I had a couple questions, so we're gonna push it back. Just found out that there's no meeting next Monday, so we'll push it back 2 weeks out. And we'll have it to you, well, the PMR team will have it to you 2 weeks. Robert Bates for mental health counseling. Since starting, seen the 175 veterans, and that's 175 hours of free counseling for veterans that have come and seek my services that need that mental health. VetCore Navigator, she's been working great. She's done a lot of different outreach to the community that translates into them walking into my office asking for services. 150 veterans just on the top of she's seen, to include doing veteran support group, coffee and donuts, different events like Operation Off-Road that she's done. She set up a meeting with Councilman Victor. Kevin was there a couple weeks ago. But yeah, she's out there in the community trying to get people involved with us or let people know that we're there hoping to help out as best as we can. We do have a site visit, so the manager of the VetCore Navigator program is going to come out on this Thursday at 9, just to look at the site, see how everything is, especially since we are a new position that they've never been to Grant County before. And a couple photos that we snapped them, that we send them over their way, so this way they can see the office location. Now they're just going to come in person to take a look at everything because there was no spot prior. Also, we do have a consent agenda item, and that is the Vietnam Veterans of America. Jerry, if you want to.
And all it is simply is just the recommendation from the Veterans Advisory Board. We met, discussed in detail, that proposal by the VVA. We think, as you've probably already seen the letter I supplied to you, we think it'd be a great connection. All we ask is the commissioners, as you look at the contract and have some accountability. If we're going to provide them free space, they should tell us how many veterans they're seeing. And, we don't need the details. We don't need the personal information, but how many did you see? How many did you refer to him for the Veterans Assistance Fund? That kind of thing. And if they're working together, they could refer each other. There's a lot of benefits to it, especially if that space opens up with youth services. And I know the discussion's ongoing. So, but the Veterans Advisory Board fully supports the VVA. As long as we can work together, that's the key. We meaning the county and the VVA, not the advisory board.
Yeah, no, I agree. If they're gonna get free rent, they should at least be accountable to us.
Okay. And you have obviously somebody that's doing a great job already. You could look at him as like the station commander, because everybody in there is involved with the military. Just a recommendation. Once again, the Veterans Advisory Board's willing to help any way possible. So.
And that's it for my updates. It's been going really well moving into new space. Definitely when there is a large amount of veterans in the spot, the space does seem small. But hopefully with everything, we might be able to accommodate veterans better. When we do bring in that new person will definitely help out as well, because any veteran that's there waiting, quick intake process, things will get turned around a lot faster. Right now, my average meeting with a veteran when they come in to do new claims or enrolled in the healthcare is about an hour and a half. So that definitely will cut down the time if we get some stuff at the door before they walk into my office. But yes, that's what I have. Is there any questions on anything?
How'd your guys' Operation Off-Road thing go?
That was in November for Veterans Day. That went well. Over 40 family members with veterans attended. I think the number was 32 veterans plus family members. What that was, Tori's did the sand dunes with a couple off-road vehicles. She said it was well attended and everything. She said it was great.
Oh, good.
We're looking to see if we can keep doing things like that on a monthly basis.
But food baskets.
Yeah, we also did winter baskets for
Christmas time
for veterans. January, we weren't able to hold an event in January, but we're trying to do something every month to where we can do something for the veteran community.
So I know you guys have done the thing out at the fairgrounds every year.
Just the stand down?
I've heard a lot of people say that it doesn't get put out there very well. Like, people don't hear about it. I don't know how we can.
Yeah, that one's always on the cards the cards we submit out during the stand down for recommendations, and we advertise it 2 months out. We put it online, we put it post office, we have banners out in Moses Lake and Electric City, Quincy, here in Ephrata, showing it. It's just, it's really hard. And it's now that we also got it on the VA website, to where if someone goes to va.gov, searches stand downs, they'll have a list of stand downs, Moses Lake's on there.
Okay.
So it's always trying to figure out what better way to do it.
What works best.
Yeah, so this year we talked about having it 3 months out where we're gonna advertise 3 months instead of 2 months. So hopefully that might be a little bit better.
Do you mind if I talk about the smaller stand now?
Yeah,
The other thing we're looking at also is discussing at the board level and recommending to Tony is have the big stand down, because everybody's used to it, but also having smaller stand downs. Have our navigator coordinate with somebody in Royal City or Quincy or Desert Air, that on Saturday, the March whatever, we're gonna be there with, a scaled down size of what we do in Moses Lake in September. And that way, at least nothing else, we can get the referrals and get that
maybe
process going.
Up north as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a real strong American Legion up north that's real involved in the board too,
So
so.
I'm assuming they have flyers up there.
yes. They put all events on their e-read, on their board, to where passing by, they see that they have my number, they have the county's number, anything veterans related, they definitely support the county very well up north.
Okay, Tony, and I'm just trying to look in our, the PMRT request for the annual. I'm not seeing where that was approved. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm looking at the few, because we had far more requests for.
It's in the stages now. The Decorah and I think we was working with Krista, they're working on it now to bring it to the board, so it hasn't been approved
Okay.
yet. The only thing that was approved is when we did budgets last year, I asked for amount to be for that. So the budget was approved for it, however, that request wasn't done yet because my
Okay, 'cause I'm looking at my
my
sheet.
supervisor kept changing towards the end where we wanted to submit it, and then and then finally now that I just pressed forward with it.
Okay, yeah, because we had more requests than we had funding for, so we didn't do all of the.
And additionally, as you're aware, if that position's approved, recommended by the PMT and then approved by you, it comes out of the Veterans Fund. It doesn't come out of the general fund. So that's another advantage that helps bolster the veterans, and, it's self-contained, so.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Let's have a nice day.
Enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Good morning, it is 10 o'clock. We are here with Swahil for our youth services update.
Good morning. I give you guys my report, but for the financial piece, in January 2025, we had 17 kids housed in Chelan, totaling 160 care days, and our average daily population was 5.16. So the total cost for the month was $29,106. Like I usually do my comparison, but last year we actually have only 16 kids. But look at the big difference between the days, 226 to 160, is because back then we had all the kids that had like facing charges, so they were just adding days. Even though we didn't have that many intakes, the days kept going and going. And the total for last year was 39,155. And as you guys can tell from my graphic that I put there for January, that's what we're paying, 29,106. And then just so you know, the Chelan stats that we have in the left is what we paid for the reconciliation. Instead of paying, even though we said this might be the amount, since we have some numbers that we have to pay with them. So if we pay less, we have to pay later to make sure that we reconcile. So those are the numbers over there. Intakes, we had 3, but we had 2 over the weekend. So I update my document before send it to you guys. So we have 1 juvenile charged with murder in the 2nd degree, assault in the 3rd degree, and drive-by shooting. He has been with us 528 days. I did hear allegedly that this kid might be done with us in less than a month. But like I say, I don't know, since he's been charged as an adult, we don't really have.
But he's not aging out yet, is he?
Not yet,
Okay.
no. But I think he will be leaving soon,
Okay.
according to what I heard from the prosecutor. Juvenile 2, charged with retail theft in the 3rd degree and theft in the 3rd degree as well, in custody with 14 days. Juvenile 3, charged with a probation violation and sentenced with 20 days in confinement, and up to date, he only has 10 days. Juvenile 4 and 5, these are the two intakes over the weekend. Charges decisions, when I type my document, we're still pending, but they're actually charging the one with the firearm and the tough third. So he's gonna go to court, but they're not asking for bail. And for the assault for domestic violence, they're releasing to diversion. And I put here, bail has been set for 2 of the juveniles that we have so far. So meaning that, you know, they will remain in detention until all the case is done with us. For January, we only have 13 intakes. And for February so far, we have 10. So making a total of 23 so far for 2025. And that's the charge for business, during business hours and after hours. As you can tell, the after hours are usually way higher than the ones that we have during the business hours. And usually, like I mentioned before, the business hours are usually the ones that come from court, and it's any type of probation violation dates or anything like that. For the offender diversion unit, our caseload right now is 201, and 114 are actually diversion cases. For truancy, we have 138 active petitions. 47 are stays, meaning that they don't do anything with it, it's just filed with us. 43 are stay file. Okay.
Hey, can I help you with something?
Habla español, sí.
Me mandaron, no sé dónde está la oficina para sacar pasaporte en mi línea.
Oh, está en el otro edificio. Si te vas para acá.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. As long as they get to where they're going, need to go.
That's true.
So when these juveniles get picked up in the evening after hours,
Yes.
do they go straight to Chelan?
So depends. Most of the time, what they do is like they have two different pickups that are or spots that they can meet. They can meet here in a Freda. After hours, we have a little bench and that they can meet and do the exchange there, or they can meet in Quincy. So for people that are like Moses Lake and Moses Lake, Soap Lake, and Grand Coulee, might be best if they meet in Ephrata, so they don't have to go all the way to Quincy. But if not, for Mattawa, other areas, Quincy, they just pick up at Quincy.
Sorry, Bob, thank you for helping.
Oh, no, of course.
I didn't
Hopefully
get that
you.
passport bill or whatever.
You knew passport, see? So yeah, that's what they will meet after hours. And then for us, after hours is 4:00, meaning like even though we're there, since we don't have intake officers to be there after 5:00, we stop having any intakes for us at 4:00. And then they will go, like I say, either meet in our facility, but in the parking lot, or in Quincy. So that's for that. And then we have 43 state file, 12 state lifted. The lifted is meaning when they file, but they actually want this case to go to court. So they lift the stay and they actually go to court. 12 contempt of court, it's meaning when they are not actually doing anything, any recommendation that they're offering, like going to school or maybe some type of, after going to the truancy boards, if they're not engaging, they will do maybe a contempt of court as well. And then we still have the 173 dismissed case that were all done by Moses Lake. That they're still not really engaging into any truancy for right now. For dependency, we have 163 active cases. 112 are assigned to staff. 40 cases are delegated to volunteer, and 11 are actively monitored. And those are because those kiddos have actually an attorney that are representing them. With Chelan, I maintain weekly meetings with them to make sure that everything is okay, and we're in good communication. And then just so you guys know, you guys will see, I don't think it's this consent agenda, but the next one, since I wasn't able to put it for Thursday. I submitted the grand total as we met here with IT to make sure that the quote has also the hosting fees for the agenda for the final approval. So that will be coming to you guys. And then also, just so you guys know, we did submit an insurance claim regarding an incident that happened. Chelan Van was coming in and the gate, we didn't know at the time it was malfunctioning. So it opened, but it closed right away. So it kind of got the back bumper of the car. So it's going through the insurance right now, and we will see the estimate that they said it was 1,412 that will go through the insurance. But yeah, so you guys, that happened. So during that time, and that's where I'm putting the needs of the department, I never, since I don't do the intakes, I didn't really see, everything that my intake officer sees. So when they bring this big van, they cannot really see the gate. So I was like, I can foresee some other accidents happen. So I asked IT to quote me for another backup camera that I can see another angle of the gate. But then also, like I say, since we actually discovered there is a malfunctioning, facilities and maintenance is working on the gate, and one of the things that they told us that they can do is like put a light that will sensor, like when the motor is off, when it's like open, then the light will come on and then the cars can come in. So that will never happen again, hopefully, to eliminate that. So that's what we're doing right now.
Who's looking at that?
What's that?
Who's looking at that?
Kevin for facilities and maintenance, so to do that. But other than that, I don't know if you guys have any questions. And that's what I have so far.
No, thank you for keeping everything running smoothly up there.
Thank you. And that's it. All right.
It is 10:09. We are in recess until 10:30 when we meet with review.
All right.
Good morning. It is 10:30. Del, thank you for joining us. We were just having that discussion if you were still on vacation or if you were around. So I'm glad.
Oh, I'm here, definitely. Caitlin, it's not allowing me to show video.
Oh,
Give me one moment and I'll see if I can.
We can do share.
Share content?
Yeah, can we hit that, Caitlin?
Are you wanting to share your screen, Dell, or were you just wanting to turn on your camera so we can
I'll just
see
turn
your
on my
face?
camera.
Del, we only allow certain people to turn on their cameras, so Caitlin's got, no, I'm kidding. I thought everybody had that access to turn on their camera.
I'm okay if that function doesn't work. I'm okay with that.
Caitlin, do we need to do that down here, or can you do that?
Well, it should be something we can do up here, but I'm not seeing the settings anywhere to change that. So we'll
that's
work
fine.
on that while you give your update. And
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure you guys know I'm here.
Yep, we saw your name after have a little discussion. So thank you, Del. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you also for approving the annual leave as well. We had a fantastic family trip last week over to Kona, Hawaii. So I appreciate that.
Nice.
The
Jealous.
sunshine was
I wish we could
much
see you in your
needed.
nice tan. Yeah, so we can't see.
Yeah, probably a little red too. Probably a little red. Just for the topic today, I had new positions down is a topic to update you on. We're working in the department with HR on several positions. There's a couple that will be coming through PMRT. Some of these have included additional administrative staff. These are listed in our position management for 2025 as well, but just want to make you aware of just what's coming through. We're going to be looking at adding administrative support for our substance use program. That's listed in our position management as well. And also a position we're going to start working with HR on and coming through PMRT is an upgrade to one of our finance positions. where we've grown from a budget of about $9 million to $22 million annually, that we're needing some additional support. Oh, I'm going to click on the video real quick. We're needing additional support as well in our finance department. That specific position was not listed in our position management grouping, and so we're working with HR on position title, banding, and what that looks like as well. And so we have further discussions today, but that will be coming through the PMRT process as well. So just wanted to just provide some updates on that. But I have a few positions that are in our position management budget, and then a couple that are not, that I wanted to discuss and make you aware of. The first of these positions that is in the budget is the Director of Quality and Client Experience. And so I just wanted to describe what the purpose of this position is. This position would oversee the quality department that we have, and they would also oversee our department's strategic measurements. So the measures that we're putting in place to ensure that we're adhering to a strategic plan and meeting the measures that we'd like to, this is the individual position that would oversee the measurement process, as well as holding client focus groups so that the clients receiving services, as in people in the community, they could share their voice as well through a community forum on how we can improve our services. This position would help oversee that and invite clients and community members into these focus groups. This person in this position would also do community health needs assessments for behavioral health. So those are specific behavioral health related assessments. They would connect with the hospital systems, law enforcement, schools, and the community as well, to identify what our gaps are, what are the things that we should be working towards to improve our services and to deliver exceptional quality in these services. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that although these are in our budget, we're going to start the discussions with HR and start working through this process for these positions. The next one is we have titled in the budget is IT inventory, but what we're looking specifically here for in this position is a telehealth projects coordinator. When we did the budget, we weren't sure title and taking a look at responsibilities. It's falling more into our telehealth projects coordinator. What we've had on site is an individual that has been taking on these functions, and now these functions are outgrowing their capacity to do both their current position and these functions. But this person will facilitate our Connected Care Steering Committee. What this committee is a member of our members of our team that when we want to implement a telehealth project for mental health or for substance use treatment, this team comes together. They identify what technology is going to be needed, what staff will be included in building this project out. So they really function as a project manager over our telehealth services. But as I said, this has really grown into more of a full-time position versus trying to have someone split their time. And we're still working out where they're going to report to directly. It may be me or it may fall in that quality department as well. And but again, I just wanted to give you a heads up on these two positions specifically that I'm going to be working on with HR and moving through the PMRT process shortly. And I didn't know if you had any specific questions or concerns as I'm just talking through these two specific projects.
No, I have no questions.
Sounds like you have growing pains.
Yes, these are the good kind of growing pains to have, but I think these will be very helpful through my leadership training as well. I'm seeing a need for these types of positions as well to support us in our growth and to support us making sure we're meeting our strategic measures as well. The next one that I have is a special grant through Carillon Behavioral Health. This was not budgeted from a revenue standpoint or from a position standpoint. We just became aware of this last week. Carillon Behavioral Health wants to submit a grant under COSOP and COSOP is Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Use Programming. This is about $650,000, just a little over $650,000 to support adding a substance use professional and an individual with lived substance use history to add to our crisis team. So 2 FTEs that we would need to add to our crisis team. The funding's for 3 years. They've asked us to prepare a budget based on the amount of $650,000 to submit to Carillon by the end of this week. Carillon needs to submit to the Washington State Healthcare Authority by the 28th of this month. So we're working on that, but they'd like to have positions posted and us to begin working on this program by the middle of April. And so I wanted to make you aware of this, as this was a new opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to add a substance use provider and a peer to our rapid response crisis team that would respond specifically to those individuals in a substance use crisis in the community. And so I thought this was a great opportunity for us to go and partner with Carillon on this as they apply for that through the HCA. And so wanted you aware of that, as it wasn't something that was in our current budget, but we are going to need to push it through.
So Jill, I have a question. When you're talking about 2 FTEs, one that has lived through experience, would they be a counselor or kind of somebody that's just?
So the first position would be a counselor, would be a substance use disorder professional. So they'd be someone that's certified to provide substance use counseling services through the crisis team. The other would be a peer position that is an individual that is not necessarily a counselor, but they're an individual that has lived experience. They have been in recovery for at least a year of using substances. And so they would help individuals accessing services through crisis navigate the substance use system, and then be a peer support to them as they get as they move into their recovery journey.
Okay.
For this morning, that's what I had for my update.
So Dale, after this 3 years of funding, how will it be funded after that?
I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
So you have the grant for 3 years of funding. How will it be funded after that?
So typically in these type of grants, the grant's funded for 3 years. So during that 3 years, we'd either be looking at a way to make it more sustainable, or we'd roll it into a crisis contract after the 3rd year. And so sometimes these grants are put in place to see if it can be sustainable, to look for ways to build for these types of services and to see if it's working as like a pilot. And the ultimate goal is these would continue and roll into our regular contracted crisis services as a part of the regular team. So we're looking at making these sustainable over time, but the specific grant for it as a startup is 3 years.
Okay.
Okay, I have no other questions. So do you have anything from us that we can help you with, Dell, today?
No, not currently. I just wanted to give you an update on some of the things we're going to have coming through that we're going to be just trying to push with HR and through the PMRT process.
Okay, and just I want to be very transparent. We've been working with the health district for their salary matrix.
Uh-huh.
I reached out to HR. Apparently, we need to also, just looking at those numbers, review your salary matrix. I think we had some discussion about it earlier. You were maybe going to look to see, do you know of any comparables out there? Maybe you've already sent them to us.
Yeah, I'm aware of comparables. Just as we're discussing this as well, being more healthcare focused, we do have not just mine specifically, but with the financial aspect as well for the finance director position, which functions differently than the county finance position. I think we need to take a look there as well. But yes, I can get comparables.
Okay, and if you can reach out to CC, Decor, and Gina, because
Yeah,
we need to look at
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
We want to keep you here now.
Yeah. I understand.
Yes,
We love it here.
You too. All right, well, if that is it, it's 10:44. We are in recess until 10:45 when we meet with the assessor's office.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dale.
Good morning. It is 10:47. We are here with Phyllis McKnight for the assessor's update. Welcome, Missy.
Good morning.
Pharmacy.
Just finished job interviews for a retiring position. Our personal property deputy will be retiring at the end of this week. Patty,
Okay.
she's retiring. We're just having an in-house party because she does not want to have a big ding. But so we'll be filling positions. It'll be a in-house. We're extending the offer to someone in our office. So we'll be short-staffed again and still trying to get new people up to speed. I'm sure you guys heard what happened on Friday. Okay, apparently not. There was an incident. A gentleman came in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we saw the letter
Yeah.
from Rhonda. Yeah.
Okay.
About that.
Okay.
Sorry, we're like, what incident? Like, no.
There was a lot of things.
There was a lot going, yeah, apparently. It's, I don't know, new moon or full moon or something going on here. So they're all the newer people, they were the ones to deal with it. We talked about protocols. Yes, they were right in telling the guy to leave after some of the things he said.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, of course, security, when one of our employees came out of the bathroom, he was yelling at them in the hallway in front of HR and security, and they both, HR and security, was like, hey, you can't do that. So they now are aware, yes, they did the right thing, but you can call security quicker than they did. That was in the office, in his office. He was getting ready to go deal with the gentleman when the guy left. So what else happened? Got notification that there was an issue with DRS on a retired employee from 2010 that had not been paid. So we will be paying that. Luckily it's not a huge amount, so I'm sure I can eke it out of my budget. I did talk to Michelle about, are there processes in place? I mean, that's from 2010.
Is it just for the 1 year or from 2000?
It's from, so this particular one was from like two pay periods in 2010 that did not get paid to DRS at the time. So.
Which would be a county.
Yeah.
Okay, not the.
And yes, it has to get paid. I was not, my question to Michelle was, how many more are out there that could come back and bite me in 2025? Well, the person actually retired recently, and so then they go back, and there was this problem, and it's not too much, so I'm sure I'll be fine. But it's like, oh, well, that's kind of out of the blue. I've had people retire before, and everything has been fine. So is there auditing things in place?
Is that when we switch from weekly to bi-weekly or monthly?
It could have been. We were switching back and forth a lot back then. So it probably maybe. Apparently this one was not the only one, and mine was a low amount.
Okay.
There's been more.
Yeah,
so I kind of questioned wait a minute, because we audit, like we double check all of our payrolls to make sure everything's makes sense. And then I know they do up there when they send stuff to DRS, but if they do miss something, is DRS not looking and saying, hey, this kicking back to the county, we don't have anything for this person for this month, or maybe too much, which could be correct if they took leave without pay. But I kind of, who's auditing the auditors? And then we're having to cover it a couple decades later. So still have questions on that one, but it is what it is. But wanted to let you guys know, because if I'm not the only one, and I know she was working on other ones, that could be a budgetary issue. So heads up. You think
14 years you'd be up. statute of limitations or something. I mean,
I don't know. So, and then we have, and I have to talk to, planning, Jim, on Sage Cliff with the code enforcement issue, or the county code issue with condos out there. I know there's not much we can do for that, so we're,
talking about out at the gorge.
yeah. It's my understanding that they're going to be tightening up the code, fixing the code. It just got apparently missed back in 2018. I know Jim's not happy about it. It
Yeah.
puts us in a really, really bad spot.
Talking about that this morning.
We're trying to muddle through all that this morning. Yeah, I only got to talk to him briefly in the hallway about it. I know they're working on it. I don't know what the timelines look like, but yeah, I need to know because
Does that have something to do with the zoning out there?
something about an RCW changed and they did not, at the time, doesn't sound like they updated the code at all. Because it's like a lot of condos going
Yeah,
A
so they're not
lot.
getting taxed properly, is that what's going on?
on. Huh?
So they're not getting taxed properly, is that what's?
So we weren't even aware of what was going on. So I mean, there could be issues with, we got to go through all the legals. They just went and recorded it. So hopefully they're amenable if there's any issues. I don't know. This could be a Kevin. We might have to go over to the prosecutor's office and have them, I don't know. Just condos are a difficult thing. So they'll be assessed correctly, but we've got to get them set up and stuff. And, we didn't know about it until just recently. So now they're calling, wanting parcel numbers, like they're already selling them. And it's like, whoa, what are you doing? Because we don't even know about what's going on. So yeah, we were hit with that this morning. It's been a Monday.
Yeah, that's what Tom Gaines said. He came in with a fire alarm going.
Yeah. I had to thank Tom because he was the one that was on Friday. Hey, would you guys call and get a report on that guy? So I was like, thank you, Tom, for being the, because that's the first thing I would be like, yes, let the police know. Trying to finish up my spreadsheet for the LTIF for Daryl. I have a lot of stuff up in the air right now going on. So, yeah. So I've got 5 minutes left.
So what is I'm getting conflicts from Clark versus the person who's selling the product, who sold the product of the LTIF product to a concept to the port. When a parcel is in current use, what is the base year value? Is it the fair market value or is it the taxable value? We have 37 parcels in current use.
Yeah, it would be the taxable value.
Okay, Max worksheet treated as the fair market, but Clark said that was the fair market. Okay, so, and then, but.
Because if you do fair market, it's not the actual value.
Okay.
You're really not gonna want,
Oh, no, it'd be.
the farmland in the TIF area. It's
Right.
not.
Right, and that's the thing is, having it be the fair market value, it create a huge negative increment unless it ever came out of current use, then that would be a negative for the life until it ever does, and it may never come out for a long time.
So, and I talked to Commissioner Burgess about this. When I finally got from the state, the paperwork that they filed, because I never got it from the port, I looked at what that company said, and their first year, they said it was gonna go up 500 million. And it's like, my question to them would be, what appraiser looked at this? Because there's no way in a year from base to the first, that it's gonna go 500 million. So I don't know what Dog and Pony Show was given to them to sell them on this, but they're in that
report, it's basically saying, and then each additional year is at least 200 million. And it's not feasible.
So those 37 parcels that are in current use probably should be removed from this TIF.
Well, I had actually went to the meeting to say they shouldn't be in this TIF,
Okay,
and they kept them in.
so we need to have a discussion
Well,
again
yeah,
about
but-
removing them.
I'm not sure the law allows them to be removed anymore.
I don't
You're in
know.
a district, you're in a district.
It'll be a question of,
Because it messes up your initial base, and you'd have to look at the higher and how, can you go back and start all over with a different base?
So who do we talk to figure that out?
I can try to call someone from Department of Revenue.
Well, I sent to Diane the questions, because
Diane,
Clark seemed to
okay.
agree that you use the fair market value. But then Clark,
If I use the fair market value, they would be over on the base year in what they,
but also that, and fair market value and use the taxable.
yeah,
Which-
it's so
and
different.
No, and so there's, nobody would want to put a current use parcel in
No.
their TIF. But then Clark says one of their TIFs had multiple current use, and they were saying, yeah, we use the fair market and taxable. I was going,
That
so I said this, and then this,
can't be right.
and the promoter is saying, no, that's not right. So I had to go to Diane Locke and ask her the question, what is the answer? Because this, here, PAX's worksheet came out with a negative 20 million. But they also.
They
also
no.
included government-owned properties as a fair market value too. So we got to filter.
You can't do that.
And so did PAX's, did
So when I made my spreadsheet, I used taxable on the base market. Or not market, but on the base year. It's all taxable, and then the next year it was all taxable. So,
But that was actually a question I posed at that meeting. Was, are you using the fair market value or the taxable value for current use? And they said at the meeting, fair market. Okay. And so then I wasn't looking at the increment impact. I was going, to make sure they're under the 200 million. That's why current use is you have this thing where they have to stay under 200 million.
yes.
And they're required to use fair market value.
And one of the lists I got, they were well over 200 million. It was like, I kicked it back to them like, this can't happen. It doesn't meet the requirements.
So, yeah, right now.
And then they got mad at me.
Yeah. DOR's, Diane sent me a link and I can't find it.
Well,
They
that's
had
$1
some,
billion difference. That's what it'd be, 500 million.
So my other question is
It's actually 11 o'clock.
Oh.
in order to that TIF, in order to have that TIF in Grant County, didn't that need to come to the Board of County Commissioners to agree to it?
nope,
Uh-uh.
No. Okay.
No.
the board had a right to comment. And Rob went and I went and I commented, explaining that this area is too big and didn't need to be this big, especially for the project they were wanting. They were trying to grab as much value as possible so that they could make more money quickly.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
More to come on.
So hopefully I'll have an answer.
I'm already frazzled. It's
Oh,
just like
this
11.
Monday has been.
Oh my God, I just
something.
can't do this.
Last Friday was something. I don't know,
It's
that's
just
why I was
been a
like, is
whole
it a
year
full
of-
moon? I need to
It's been a
know.
whole 2 years or something.
I was thinking this was, I was,
Good afternoon. Good morning. So we are here with Michelle Chamberlain for the auditor's office update. So earlier we had the accounting. I don't know why we don't put the two of them together, accounting and auditor.
it would probably be easier.
Yeah, right, one right after the other, or together.
Together would be probably just as well. But I thought it was the budget and finance meeting that I needed the report. So I'm running around trying to get Erin to get the reports in and stuff. And she's like, we still don't have them, but it's tomorrow. So I was like, oh, this isn't even the budget and finance meeting.
Update earlier, you could, yeah.
But I do have a couple things that I thought I would just throw out there since I'm here. Apparently, we are having issues with GP in a Microsoft 11 update. It's causing a lot of issues for us to have to work through because it's throwing errors in GP. So they're currently trying to get Felicity's
Microsoft
computer
11 update.
set back because they put her on 11 and it won't work.
Okay.
Everybody's having issues on 11, so they're trying to put them back on 10. So that hopefully we can
Take care of that.
process
and leave them on Microsoft 10 until we're on Tyler. Because it doesn't like the update for whatever reason. Everybody that's had the update is getting errors. So I have that to DRS. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's been brought to light, back to light to me, because now I'm trying to fix all the issues that we've had with DRS. And since we went to bi-weekly reporting, we get a finance fee, an interest fee, because we cannot report our last DRS payment until we've completed it on the bi-weekly schedule. So sometimes it's past the due date, so we get charged an interest. And this morning, we ended up paying $1,000, $1,078.08 in interest. And we've talked about taking it out of the miscellaneous government before, but I don't think they've been doing that. And I know we had an issue where that account was in the zero, and it was in the negative.
So we've switched payroll back and forth for one reason to another.
Because of the sheriff's office
Okay.
and the jail, we had to go back to bi-weekly. And we started it, I think, in 22. But, I mean, we don't even process because it's bi-weekly. So we're processing into the next month, past the due date. So ultimately, we get charged a finance fee. And there's really not a way to get around it. But we don't have that deducting out of the employees or the department, so it has to come from somewhere. So I am back here just bringing it back to our attention.
We're doing the payroll because that's how, something with overtime, and we wanted all the payroll done.
They couldn't do it to the 86.67 hours we were doing on semi-monthly. So we had to change that.
We were doing, everything was monthly. Once a month, we got a paycheck.
Yes, it was so much easier. Semi-monthly is so much easier. We don't get all of these extra fees, but.
So if that's like $12,000 a year.
Yeah. Fix that.
Well, and there's a zero balance. I mean, we have no money. We don't have anything budgeted
So
for
yeah, take
it.
it out, I would say take it out of miscellaneous general government. There is a.
But how can we avoid it from?
We can't. We can't avoid it because they charge us for it.
If we did payroll monthly, we could, but.
Well, and we tried to do it. It's just with, I'm hoping with Tyler, I don't even know if Tyler will help us with the bi-weekly reporting.
What does the school district do? Aren't all the school districts on monthly?
They pay a month at a time.
A lot of people pay monthly.
And we did. We used to.
We paid monthly, but we had a select employees that would get in advance, so they basically got 75% of their check. The middle of the
And then the
month,
IRS
but
said no,
you
they
can't
wanted
give
their
them,
money.
like prepay or give them in advance without taking out deductions, so.
Yeah, and we had to quit doing that because
How many employees?
we had to
were
pay
getting
payroll
in
tax
there?
on it.
How many employees were getting in advance?
I don't even remember. It was probably, I would think, if not more than that, we're getting in advance. That's been a while ago. But I just don't know. I'm gonna keep looking at this and hopefully we figure out a better way, but, and a lot of this happened because of the change of people too and the reporting. I think once things start to smooth back out, they had a mess. DRS had a huge credit. We had no money in that fund. And I was like, well, that's because you guys have double paid something. So I had to go back through, try to audit it through, figure out what happened, define that it definitely was just an overpayment. So I've been trying to use up all the credits. Finally got all the credits used up. But I'm still getting the finance fees, the interest fees.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding out that they didn't do it correctly before because the interest fees are coming out of the pool that everybody's putting money into to pay DRS. So paycheck to paycheck, only what we owe is pulled out, not interest. So there's shortfall.
Everybody should pay into that.
Yeah, so we gotta figure out, either we need to put it in our budget so that we can pay it out of, the problem is it's multiple funds. Cause it's, you know, the interest is also coming from, you know, people in Renew, New Hope. And there's no way to go, okay, well, this is a percent. I mean, we could try to do some kind of percent formula, but that we would take from everybody to pay the interest, but I think that would be a lot of work to do. But
We're looking for miscellaneous
Could
general.
each one of them pay, say, $100 a month? $50 a month to cover those costs.
see, our PERS one was 734.84 this time that we had to pay. And I don't know if that's just for January, for sure. I just
We do
know
have
that's the
professional
amount.
Services, we have 7,000. Judgment and damages, which is not judgment and damage, but it is a finance fee. Financial services, state auditor.
See, and that was the one I thought was the
External legal services, 60,000, but I don't know.
yeah.
Pensions and other retirements, DRS, 500. So obviously we need money in that account.
Yeah,
do
what's
have
the
a
account
fund.
number on that one?
125-5172049.
72049? Oh, no, it's not even a good number, really. We shouldn't be paying anything into miscellaneous, but, so that's in, okay, let me,
I don't know why we haven't put it through here.
We've obviously used it
I know we
before.
have before, and I think that's where we did determine we were gonna take it from before.
Okay, so we need to probably just do. a
But
budget.
$500 is not gonna cut it.
No, but where we've had 22,000,
Mm-hmm,
so we obviously took it somewhere else.
yeah, so we're gonna have to either make sure we budget in here for that. But I think that we might change it to like, I'll figure out a different code, because miscellaneous is not a good, it's not a good code. Not a good code to throw a bunch of money in.
No.
Yeah, because
So
everybody
I'll-
questions that miscellaneous.
Yeah,
It could be
the
anything.
state auditor doesn't like miscellaneous.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
miscellaneous should be like a small amount of money, not thousands.
Well, we have some people that budget there and it's everything, can't remember who it was, they put everything under miscellaneous. I'm like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're trying to weed them. We're trying to change that. They still try to do it.
But for miscellaneous general government, where we have line items, it does capture things because I don't know where else you grab it from because payroll is in and out.
Yeah.
So we've got to
Yeah.
have some, shoot, it's 11.
So that's my two biggest issues that I have going on. And I was gonna tell you, I think we have approximately about 10 boxes that we need to haul out, but elections is gonna have some more stuff that we might be able to throw in there with that. But I really haven't had time to even really think about that. Last time I came, we talked about,
Yeah, we were talking about buying another shredder.
another
And
shredder.
Take that old one out, because it doesn't shred good enough. Get rid of that old one and buying a shredder, so we could just shred down underneath the stairs.
Down underneath the stairs.
That shredder, the paper's about a ½ inch wide.
Yeah, it chews it up, yeah. It's been a while since I've had to use it. I used to use it years ago, but I haven't recently. We've just been taking them to the dump. But anyway, so we have
Landfill.
landfill. We're gonna fill the land.
Not dump, landfill.
Anyways, we still have that issue that we had talked about before. But I think that's all I have that I can think of.
Down with the elections, let us know. Rob and I'll figure something out.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was gonna try to look up there to see what else we had up in. I don't like to do the election stuff up there. But the pink envelopes, if we have pink envelopes, I can throw that in there with that, but I don't know what we have yet. I already dumped all the other ones out, so. Okay, alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
11:11.
Tomorrow, hopefully, we have reports for you guys.
We are in recess until 11:15. Good morning. It is 11:15. We are here with Jimmy Kiernan for our fairgrounds update. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Good to see you. It's Monday. The fairgrounds is a mud hole right now, just so you guys all know. It's,
I can imagine.
in fact, I had this joke this week of if we could find a car whose roof was been cut off, we'd drop it in one of the mud puddles so it looked like the car had sunk in the mud. Some of them are pretty deep. Right by the Ardell especially, they're pretty bad. So we did get some news last week that was kind of disappointing. Darcy Holmesley has an opportunity to go do another position. It's a great opportunity for her, and so we're losing our accounting tech. That did get posted. It closes on Friday, and we're hoping to get some good candidates. Daniel's been helping me. And by the way, Daniel is an amazing addition to the HR team, I gotta say.
So is Darcy staying within the county or she's leaving?
I don't really want to say where she's
No,
going, but
that's
it's a
okay. I was
good,
just
it's a
wondering
good
if it was
opportunity, but it's
within-
not in the county.
Okay. Didn't know if it was a county office.
Super good opportunity for her, and you know, she's done an amazing job. Probably, I would argue, the best accounting person we've had in that position. Just because of her understanding of reconciliations and making sure every penny's accounted for, and it's been really nice. I don't have to worry about it, which is really nice. We did interviews of our third events person, officially titled the groundskeeper, and we selected a candidate. An offer has been put out, and we're doing some background checks, but we hope to get that back and the person hired by the 13th of March, which will be great for timing because we start events this coming weekend, actually.
What do you have this weekend?
Wenatchee Kennel Club's agility trials in the Ardell. We're still working on a headliner. We think we've got it narrowed down. Eric's working on it for fair. It's been a challenge, as Kevin knows, having attended the last Fair Advisory Committee meeting. It's just been difficult, and they're so expensive this year. Next year, it almost makes me want to go to tribute bands only and say, you know what, we're just not going to pay those rates.
Yeah.
I am planning on taking vacation March 7th through the 15th. I'll be out of town. I will have my cell phone with me, but and so the staff knows they can get a hold of me. And more than likely on that Monday, it'll be Rebecca that'll be coming and doing the 15-minute update. Public Works is working on the track. It's slowly, they're almost to I think they're probably into the corner now, the south corner a little bit. And so it's going pretty well. We had to stop during the snow as they had other things they had to do to clear roads and stuff. The rodeo grant for bleachers had a little bit of a setback. Tom Gaines is working on that with Tom Dent's office just to make sure the funding is there. He probably would be giving you an update on that when he does
I
it.
gave us an update this morning.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah.
good. We have the Oregon Beverage Services contract signed by them, reviewed by Barbara Durbeck. And so you'll be getting that in next week's consent. And then we should have the Seattle's Finest contract shortly thereafter. Raleigh's just got to make a couple changes on that. It needs to get okayed by Barbara and then signed by Raleigh, and then you guys will have that contract too. And then once we get the headliner named, that'll be another contract we'll have you sign, since that's going to be between $40,000 and $50,000. Other than that, that's pretty much all we've got going on right now.
How are you guys dealing with this mud out there? You guys bringing in extra gravel or anything?
Not yet. I think we have, it kind of depends on where Public Works ends up with this track, how much they're charging us. Tom says they're charging us basically full boat for their work that they're doing. So if there's money left over there, that would be the hope, is that we could get some gravel out there right now. And we need to get a grader down on some of the roads just because there's gravel there. It's just, how it piles up and makes big holes and stuff. So Tomer has a grader there right now. We're gonna wait and see if they can actually do some grading for us on the roads. They had the grader there from the kart racing, so hopefully that'll, and usually they don't charge us a whole bunch if it's already there. The guy will come in and do it on his days off, so.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, Public Works, they have to charge whatever the rate is for the road, when they do a road.
Oh, yeah,
project,
it's expensive.
So they can't,
next year I told Tom, let's go out and get a quote. I know it's a double-edged sword. It's good for the county because it's offsetting internal costs, but for the fairgrounds alone, it's a little expensive.
yeah, you probably would be cheaper getting it because you're paying
Whatever they
probably closer to
charge.
prevailing wage that they have to do on the road.
Well, and we would have to pay prevailing too, but
Well, but
independent,
whatever your road grader is. they
Right.
Charge the.
Yeah.
mobilization.
it'd be cheap. It may be cheaper. We'll know next year if it would be.
See how they charge.
Yeah. Other than that,
They must be working on the north side of that track. Is that what they're doing?
yeah, it's hard to see. They're actually, there's that, it comes around the corner. It's just that last bit of straightaway and then they should be into the corner here pretty quick. So.
But it is a win-win for the Public Works because they haven't been overly busy right now.
It's offsetting their costs, so it's kind of allows it to, so there's no expenditure above and beyond what your costs already are. So you're actually recouping some what would be considered sunk costs anyway, so.
Yeah, no, they've got to actually build for.
Yeah.
Are they gonna burn that pile of trees or are they gonna?
We couldn't get a permit, so we have a contractor coming in with a big tub grinder and gonna grind it up and take it away. Yeah, because we're in the urban growth boundary, it won't let us, burn.
A big fire pit out there.
Well, all we need is a lot of diesel and an accidental match.
And
Yeah.
hot dog.
And get some hot dogs out.
Yeah, but it can only be like a 3x3 or 3x4.
Yeah. Next week is the business expo from the chamber, so I think it's Tuesday evening, so both of you, all three of you need to, if you can, get away and come over to the business expo. It's just a great event, lots of local businesses.
Rob's not gonna be here.
He's at NACO, isn't he?
Business Expo. Oh, at the fairgrounds?
Yeah, it's at the fairgrounds, yeah. So if you get an opportunity, come check it out. It's pretty good. So that's really all I had.
When do we expect to hear back on our headliner?
Hopefully this week, and we're trying. Basically, it was one of the names we. I don't want to say it publicly yet, but it's one of the names that we mentioned in the Fair Advisory Committee. So hopefully he felt good about it. So
good.
It's just been painful this year. Yeah. Come on in.
Hopefully they come down in their pricing next year.
I'm more into this. I think Wednesday night's Elton John tribute's going to be made. So I'm saying, hey, if we have to, we'll go tributes next year.
Yeah, if we do good on Wednesday night with the tribute, then we should just.
Friday night, we'll just get 2 or 3 tribute bands and call it good because they're a lot cheaper than the real deal.
Yeah, I don't think most people really.
The Elton John on Wednesday night, he's going to sound as good, if not better, than the real deal right now. And he looks like him. It's going to be amazing. All right.
Thank you, Jim.
You bet. Thank you.
11:23. We are in recess until 11:30. Good morning. It is 8:30. We are here with Blair Cook, our risk and safety coordinator. So we're here for our weekly update. Welcome, Blair.
Welcome. So not to correct you, Commissioner, but it's Coke, like the pop.
Coke.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. It's only week 2, it's only the second time I've been here, so it's all good.
Well, I don't think I usually say your last name.
No, you don't. So yeah, it's like the pop. Just easiest way to remember it.
That works.
Or soda, wherever you're from. So glad to be back. I was told on Thursday, oh, by the way, next time, make sure you get the update. So I'll have that official, outline for what I'll talk about next week when I'm here for next week. One of the things that I was doing is talking to some of the different departments. And from my previous employment with Clear Risk, Grant County hasn't been the best of using resources with Clear Risk or stuff like that, yearly trainings. So starting to push yearly trainings with the employees of the county.
Thank you, Blair, because I think for the last 2 years, we put it in 24, 25 budget, because we used to have trainings and we just have walked away with it, and whether it's leadership or anyway.
Yeah, so one of the things I was looking at is just having some yearly trainings. There's a couple things I would really like to see is ethics, some type of ethic training. It can be rotating, but just having something on ethics, doing sexual harassment yearly, cybersecurity, probably, which our, TS would probably like to see. And then new supervisor training for those that are becoming supervisors or wanting to become supervisors. It's super important for those type of people to have training on those to keep us from getting in trouble. And then having training on fire alarms and evacuations. It is mandate that we have those and have the evacuations. So having those done yearly. And then every few years, having some effective communications, true colors, which is the communications type, which could be done for leadership people or people that are wanting to build communication skills, how to effectively communicate with others. Some other ones we could possibly do is CPR, first aid, AED for those that want it, not a requirement, but those that want to do it. Another one.
It was required in some, I thought every office had to have, like on our farm, we have to.
Depends on the type of field. Okay. I know some, like Public Works, they have to have it. For some fields, they have to have it. Fire extinguisher training. How many people have never used a fire extinguisher? Not a lot. So having the ability to, for those that want to do it, have a chance to use a fire extinguisher and be able to deploy it, and not a true emergency. And hey, I know how to use it now, and have that type of training. Record retention. That's one that can get us in trouble. Have that. And then I'll talk about that record retention in a minute too. And then an active shooter. That's been brought up a lot on the buildings. Each building have a active shooter type of thing where bring someone in, go through it, and then those that want to participate can and do that training. And it doesn't have to be every year, but just every couple of years. So if heaven forbid something does happen, the employees do know what to do and how to get out safely. So those are the trainings I'd like to see. There may be more, but depending on what they are, we could, every few years or put it on the year of training. So those are the trainings. And then with record retention, the one thing I found out that is every department has someone that is responsible for record retention. We don't have someone for the county that is our record retention person that is all knowing. That, hey, if you have a question, go to this person and ask them the questions. I was gonna bring it to you guys, see what your thoughts are, but having someone that is labeled the record retention specialist. And so every department can go to that person and ask questions, but they can still have their records people that can do the trainings and do that, but have that one true person that is the specialist. So just to bring it before you guys to think about, because records is one thing that can really shoot us in the foot if we destroy something that we're not supposed to, or put the wrong date on it. If someone's not getting the correct training or doing something wrong, it will get us in trouble. So something to consider. So that's what I have on that. I gave you some papers. So with Clear Risk, I went and asked for our 10-year loss ratio. So I went through them, broke it down by year and coverage, and just wanted to see what it looked like. So you can kind of see it. I did the totals, number of claims, the total dollars, and I averaged it. So just looking through it, for auto liability, we had 59 claims. So you guys can go through that and see that. And then on page 3, you guys will see that I combined all of the auto. So that'd be auto liability, physical damage collision, physical damage comp, underinsured motorist, and then property does have some auto claims, so I took the auto claims out of property and put all the auto combined in that. And so that made 164 auto claims, which put us at a pretty significant amount of money. But if you look at the average on those claims, it's not too bad for when you consider the amount of claims we have. So the average dollar per claim is not terrible. However, if you go down to property, you take away the auto claims.
So is this $4,300 per, that's what you're looking at? So are you counting the $10,000 deductible that?
This is, yeah, that's everything.
Okay, so it does include the 10,000.
Yep, this is the total out of
Okay.
pocket per
Okay.
claim.
For the
So,
verify, we
yep.
were just paying.
no, this
feel
is,
like we get hit
this is
with that.
ground up.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I can double check, but yeah, that's ground up for the claim, I believe. Some of them are like, the thing is what happens is if we have a $0 claim, like 5, 6, or 20 or 30 $0 claims, that's gonna really drop our claim dollar amount. So, you know, if you look at property, we've had a couple of larger claims, so that does skew the data a little bit. We got a couple fires that threw the data.
Oh, that's 1819.
Yeah, 18, 19.
Okay.
So if you look at it, so some of it, we don't have too many fires, knock on wood. But we're averaging 127, almost 128 grand a claim for property. So, you know, it's just, I just wanted you guys to see that, but I just wanted to see if there's any trends for us. I mean, what you expect to see is, you know, law enforcement's expensive, wrongful acts are expensive, and property. It's what you expect to see, and it's what's true here.
So Kevin, the 2018-19 fire, Public Works in the shop in Quincy, they parked a mower inside, and it caught on fire, like a grass mower, which I don't even know why it was inside.
I think they were working on it. I want to say they were working on it, and something happened with the battery, and it caught fire, which has happened. You guys aren't the only ones. We've had quite a few different
Kind of a
things.
free thing, but yeah, typically a
so-
mower is not.
But yeah, but I know the shop has done that. When they start working on vehicles, they take the battery, like disconnect the batteries, so to stop that from happening. So I know they have taken, you know, certain precautions now to protect that from happening again in the future. So there are things that, you know, Grant County's done to protect themselves. So, you know, you guys have done the right steps. So it's just going forward now to protect yourselves. But the thing is now is I know I'm working on tracking what department is involved with some of these too, so I can break it down even more. So is it the sheriff's department? Is it Public Works? Or is it, you know, Renew? To try to break it down even more and define it even greater. And I know clear risk is as well. And then also looking at weather. Was it wet? Was it snow related for auto as well? So, you know, it's going to get a lot more detailed over time. And then I'll start throwing in near misses as well. So, you know, it's going to be a lot more detailed as I go. Hopefully reduce even more and drop the dollar amount. Hopefully. But as you know, claims are getting more expensive. Things to get fixed are even more expensive. So, any questions?
No, thanks for providing this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a quick look at what we have. I mean, we have a lot of vehicles driving, so, you know, having only 164 auto claims in 10 years is not terrible. If you think about it, it's just over 10 a year.
Get rid of 2020 and 2021 would be good.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep. So. Is there anything you guys have for me?
How, do you have any questions for us? How are things going?
Things are going well. Just going through it, working on digitizing the claim files that I have. So the open claims, closed ones, I'm going to use Laserfish and put them all on digital, which will make it a lot easier to pull if there's anything like that. So it makes it a lot easier than trying to find them. All you got to do is enter a claim type, the claim number or a date, and we can pull it that way. So it'll be a lot quicker to grab the files and stuff like that and add to the file than how we are currently doing it. So I'm in the process of starting the training on that and starting that shortly. So that is my next big task. So hopefully by next.
Did you get your screens fixed so they're not?
We're working on it. It's better, but I still have my screens flashing. So it's, yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
Hopefully they get it fixed.
Yes, I hope so. They're not flashing as bad as the day you saw them, but yeah, it was crazy.
Something like that happened.
Yeah.
Anything you need from us?
No, not right now. I'm just continuing to get a lot of things and working with people and meeting the departments and keep moving forward. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Blair. It's 11:42. We are in recess. Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. We are here for position management review team. So he may be joining us. He was just out this morning. I thought Commissioner Jones was going to join us after lunch.
And I'm assuming Andy and Felicity as well.
I just promoted Rob to a panelist.
Okay.
Is there anything that Rob needs emailed to him? Or
No, I just put it on a
okay.
spot. I can send it to him if he needs me to. Afterwards.
Okay, so we probably had a position management. I think we had a meeting, but we had nothing to discuss. So this is my first position management meeting. So I guess I'll turn it over to HR to begin. I don't know how it rolls.
Okay. Well, we will.
Well, actually, Rob's on. Rob is going to take over here.
Rob, do you want to take over? Okay. Well,
maybe not. So maybe you're stuck.
Okay, well, we'll start with Kevin. You want to share your presentation? Oh, Judy, you have it? I did make copies so we could review them.
You didn't hear me, Dakara?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I said she introduced you guys, so you're welcome to just begin.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so the first position is the PA's office, remote prosecuting attorney. And you are asking for how many?
Two.
Barb or Caitlin, I plugged in the HDMI cord to my computer to broadcast a PowerPoint. How do I show it up? Make it show up on the
I think
TV?
we have to get this.
Yeah, it'll be something on the tablet. If you can't figure it out, oh, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Usually it's up.
Slide. Yep. So we're cannot get attorneys to the local area. We're basically have to cut back on the cases we can prosecute, and we're not prosecuting cases very well. This will allow us to recruit attorneys from around the state and actually literally anywhere as long as they're licensed in Washington. And then what we would do is about 80 to 90% of what we do is done in an office. 10 to 20% is done in a courtroom. And so what we can do is try to focus the non-courtroom stuff to these attorneys and the courtroom stuff to the attorneys that are physically here. That's the challenge. We just don't have enough attorneys. We don't have enough prosecutors. We can't prosecute the cases. We just can't do it with the number of bodies we have. Okay. There's just, we don't have a particular salary band. I would want to pay these people less than what I'm paying people to be here, because otherwise I will end up with everybody trying to go be remote attorneys. And so this is a salary band roughly $15,000 to $20,000 lower per year than what I pay district court attorneys. So that's where I came up with the numbers. They're rough, but we would need a new salary area to recruit these people. These are still fairly competitive with other offices in other areas that don't have recruiting issues drawing people in. So I'm hoping these will still be competitive with other areas.
And are those remote as well?
What's that?
The competitiveness, you said?
No, so like smaller counties on the west side that don't have, that's kind of, they're competitive with that. So hopefully with the remote, people shouldn't care or be even more attracted to the remote aspect of it. So, yeah. So that's where I came up with those numbers. This will allow us to take, instead of 4 attorneys in district court, allow us to operate with 2 physically here and 2 wherever. This doesn't have any budget. Well, we already have those positions out there. We just can't fill them, so we're already budgeted for them. IT support may be a little tricky just because we don't have people who, we have people who never come to campus. So I don't know about getting them started up. We may need some extra IT support in the courtroom for documents and stuff. We got to work out the details with the judges. I did talk to Judge Gwynn. He is supportive of this idea. And it's conceivable we'll need an additional legal assistant as we work through the bugs. Because we may have to have a legal assistant in the courtroom during dockets to manage paperwork. So that would be a potential requirement for this. But some of it's going to have to be figuring out how this is going to work. So.
Maybe talk to TS about this idea.
Not yet. Well, we've been talking about remoting courtrooms. I mean, we're already pretty much remote in Superior Court, where we send a legal assistant up all the time. So I don't see this as being an overwhelming obstacle. But those are some of the resource requirements we need.
So you have attorneys in your budget currently to fill?
Yes, that aren't being filled.
Okay. So is it basically a name change because?
No, because, so technically,
this
Kevin
is an
doesn't,
additional-
he doesn't have these positions budgeted. He's talking about leftover monies because he can't hire people into his current FTEs. But it would, for budget purposes, there needs to be a separate line item. So it would be an addition. Because the theory is he's not going to replace 2 vacant attorney positions with these 2. He's adding 2 to his current pool. Does that make sense?
I'm okay with it either way, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean,
HR
just
recommended
wondering,
doing.
like, well, if you've got 2 open positions here, just fill them.
HR recommended doing it this way, so I'm doing it this way. I'm good either way.
Okay.
I need those 2, I need those positions filled.
You just need attorneys.
Yes.
Regardless of where they're at.
What they're labeled, what slot they go into, I don't care. I need
So I guess in
attorneys.
my mind, I was thinking as a reallocation of 2 FTEs that you have open, making them remote, and then if that's successful and you have somebody
Right.
who wants to come, then we can ask for a
Okay, you
FTE.
would have
That's another way to do it, and that's fine with me. Yeah, either way is fine with me. Just however we do it.
Commissioners, this could, just something to keep in mind, that this could snowball to other departments who also want to have remote employees, and the board has historically been leaving people in the office doing the work. But I also realize that you're very specialized in your positions, and they're hard to find and come by, so it is a good recruitment idea, but just so that the board is aware that that is a potential.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this 82.5 is based on somebody that's gonna be satellite, and the rate would go up for somebody that's gonna come into the office and actually physically be here.
No, so that would be basically based on experience. So 82.5 for the lowest experience up to the 118, whatever it was, for if we get somebody with 20 years of experience or whatever.
Okay.
My current salaries for somebody that comes into the office start at 100 and go up from there. So they're significantly more,
Well,
give or take a little bit.
so you've got, I'm just looking at going into the budget, you've got a legal secretary and 2 deputy prosecutor, like trainer 2, trainer 6 available, plus you probably have 1 that's just left. So you do have open positions.
Oh yeah, I have open
Okay.
positions. I have several
I
open
just
positions.
gotta try to get
Yeah.
through the whole picture.
Yeah, so for the people that come into the office, right now, somebody right out of law school starts at right around 100,000 and then goes up from there.
Okay.
So this is meant to be a range for remote people only. The range for people that are here is definitely higher.
We have budgeted $114,620 is
Okay.
the salary
Yeah,
for the
that-
trainee,
Mhm.
deputy prosecutor trainee
Yeah,
6.
so.
Okay. All right, this is like my very first time doing this.
That's okay. Well, and typically we have accounting and payroll here, so we go through the steps where HR, all documents are complete, correct, Gina?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
HR documents are complete.
We don't have a job description, so no.
We're kind of gonna draft that, but yeah, we can flesh it out.
So this, Gina, what you're recommending, I think I'm following, is in addition to his budget now, is to add these 2 new positions.
Yes,
Not changing anything, but adding 2 additional positions.
because he doesn't want to stop recruiting for those open positions.
Okay.
So let's say there was a influx of new applicants. He would want to fill those 4, but have 2 spots available for remote.
Okay.
And that's what we had discussed as
Yeah,
being
I
the
mean-
best strategy moving forward.
Just want to be clear in my mind, crystal clear.
And during budgets, we said we didn't have those extra extras, correct?
I'm looking at his budget right now.
Okay. And this does not violate any policy, payroll policy or process that I am aware of. So I will speak on their behalf.
If it does, will
She
you
can tell
keep
me
us out of
later.
court?
Yeah.
This is defendable.
And then the last category that we discussed is if the commissioners have an insight or questions that they would like. Yes.
No, I think you answered my question.
And I gave you a copy of the slides, so tomorrow during my meeting, the HR meeting, you can discuss, ask any questions that maybe you think of, and then make a decision there.
I sent you a draft, just a few lines, but we can flesh that out pretty easily.
I send you the template?
Yeah.
Send to me.
Easy enough.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay if you like, and I'm sure you
And then I
have
got another thing to get to.
exciting things.
Thanks, Kevin.
And did Rebecca catch up with you about later today?
Yes.
Okay, okay. See you then.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hey, Andy, you're up.
Requesting seasonals for our public works and solid waste for this year. And one of the questions was, we struggle to show stuff on a budget because of the way that we do our numbers. The seasonals, when they do chip seal, their cost is captured in a chip seal operation because we have to report things like that to our crap board. The one thing I did bring is we started a couple of years ago having all of our supervisors turn in a budget narrative, and they turn it in August so that we can use it to draft our budget moving forward. And on these budget narratives, there was 17 positions requested as seasonals, 2 of those were the litter crew, because we had been prior to this year doing those as strictly seasonal. So the request is for 15, the road crews and the traffic, the engineering, the bridge department, they're asking for 14 for this year. And it's just summertime, they do a lot of flagging for us and pulling tabs on the chip seal crews. The engineering would like a part of one to do some legwork for the Safe Streets for All grant. They're kind of gonna split one with the bridge department. So that's what we're requesting.
So you're asking for 14 total or 17?
14.
Okay.
Oh, because litter control is actually full-time now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
HR documents or
Yes.
budget, you said it there, you do budget for them.
Yep.
I can't think of any through a policy or process that it's not compliant with. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
No, I just thought flagging is so much fun.
Yes, it is. You can.
It's almost as much fun as holding the flash, hold it straight. Quit moving.
With those, we have 2 sets of those automated flagging devices. It's actually, they control both sides with one.
Oh, one person can do it. It is a little brutal standing outside, and then there's a possibility of getting hit by a school bus, because they seem to be the worst. They don't.
Yeah, trucks, they hit them too, but yeah, that's where the bridge crew, because a lot of their jobs are set up using those automated flagging devices. So that's why they're asking to split one with engineering. Bridge repair, guardrail, they can have one seasonal person run both APATs for them and flag the whole operation. So.
The power.
Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I was curious how many temps you had in 2024.
I think we could only hire 7. And I think of those 7, 1 or 2 of them didn't last much over a month, but we were shooting for 12.
And how many are you asking right now? You said
14.
so. I mean, more than double of what you had last year.
So 2 solid waste, 2 litter pickup, road district 1, 3 seasonal flaggers, road district 2, 3 seasonal.
So we're gonna have 2 full-time litter pickup plus 2 seasonal.
No, when the narrative was written in August, the full-times were not approved up until this year. Always
Gotcha.
done them as seasonal.
So you won't be requesting 2 litter for seasonal.
No.
Okay. Can you give me just a quick breakdown of the numbers?
I just included them, Rob, to show that we had budgeted for them as our seasonals.
Oh, okay.
So it's,
Gotcha.
That's confusing.
so road district 1, there's 3, road district 2, 3, road district 3, 3, bridge crew 1 seasonal, and traffic 3 seasonal.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time doing the math.
Where's
It's on that.
14? What'd you?
It's 13. Yeah, on the 7, they were, okay. You budgeted for 17, but you're taking 2 away, which should leave 15.
Yeah, and then, so, yes, and then the difference between their narratives and when they actually made their requests actually went down another one.
Okay,
I think the sign shop had originally in their one in August had asked for 4.
okay.
And when we sent him out an email asking for the actual number, he went down 1.
But I know my math is a little off, but I've been trying to follow this along, like, hey, I'm just somewhere, okay.
So 13.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So instead of 14
Keep on
seasonals, you're
the toes.
actually requesting 13.
Yes.
Don't worry, we're just working on math, creative math.
Yeah, creative math.
Public Works math.
That's what we needed you here for.
Yeah.
Working on trig right now. You basically, Kevin McRae was in looking for 2 additional employees to work in the prosecutor's office. It will be remote. And then Public Works is requesting 13 employees. It was gonna be a higher amount, but 2 of the seasonals are now full-time garbage or litter pickup. So that's what we were just calculating the number. So it's 13. And they're all budgeted in handies.
And then I spoke for you and said that I didn't see any policy violations, so they were policy issues. Okay. Anything else, Rob? I think that was a no. And it will go to the board for decision during our meeting room. It's pretty painless. We had a third one, however, it was postponed until next week. Needed some more information.
It's probably pretty painless for us, but those that were listening or in the room, it's probably pretty painful for them. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, so I don't know if the PMRT, would this be a good time to, I don't have an application. I guess I need to follow up. I can follow up with Tom Gaines about some additional work for our employee who's in the mail room. We'll follow up with Tom. He's here.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Rob, do you have anything? Okay. It's awfully quiet, so it's 1:21. We are in recess until 1:45 when we have the commissioners' work session. Good afternoon. It is 1:48. We are here for our commissioners' work session. I just want to report, I was visiting with Tom Gaines and he's got a couple positions, I think 2 internship positions that he's put in his budget for the last couple of years that he can hire an employee. It's already in his budget. I don't know if he needs to go through PMRT due to an intern. So we might be able to.
Mailroom person.
Yeah.
Do some hour and a half.
So without, increasing the mailroom. He's gonna go talk to HR about it, because I don't know how they want to make that happen. Be 2 different budgets.
Right.
Barb?
It's Barb is on a quick break, so it's just me. I've got a note of that though. Does anybody know maybe if we got an answer about next week's meetings? I don't see Rob online, but I wasn't sure if either of you knew.
Let me.
Yeah, because he's leaving Thursday. So.
And I know he was they're meeting with another commissioner from a neighboring county on that meeting. Caitlin, do you mind just call Tom and see if he'll pop in here for a minute, and then we can, I guess, discuss that?
Yep, one moment.
Thank you. I would love to say I know Tom's extension, but I don't.
He's on the way.
Okay, thank you.
On tonight. Now it slipped my mind.
I suppose while you wait, Kevin, I did reach out to accounts payable about that double charge that you saw on the batch, and they did say that it was not an error. It is one invoice in the total amount of $7,401.88 that was split between 2 accounts. They said that it was by Public Works that did it, but I guess it's a pretty common thing that they do. That's why it has the same invoice number, but two different account numbers that the amount is coming out of.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Sure thing.
You're doing a work session, I was just asked to join.
Yes,
Okay.
so I'm like, I don't know Tom's extension, so I should.
Oh.
Because Rob's not on, he was earlier. We are trying to figure out if we can have our meeting next week.
Okay.
We got at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, because we can change it.
Right.
But I'm like, I think you have a meeting scheduled for Congressman Dan.
Yeah,
Dan
it's
Newhouse.
Tuesday the 4th at 1:30 PM, local Washington DC.
So,
That's DC time.
okay.
So
that's
1:30,
3 hours.
10:30 in the morning here.
Okay.
What I don't know is, let me open up my email real quick, see if I can find this.
Because what were we gonna try to get accomplished next week, just one day?
Just that one meeting.
Two. Nope, that's not that, not that. I'm looking for an email, so supposedly there is a, just,
Yeah, 3 hours ahead. So if it's 1:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 10:30. So it should be good if it's 1 or 2.
I have
Caitlin,
to-
did you
yeah.
catch that?
Yes, I did.
I'm trying to find a
So Tom, what would be easier?
email, and it didn't come from exactly, oh, here, hold on, Derek Young. Let me see if I can open this up, see if it's still there. Saturday evening, okay, nope, yeah, so
So
they're,
what would
they're
you-
trying to set up a dinner just for Washington State folks, but it's on Saturday, so,
Okay.
yeah.
What would work out better on Tuesday, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? That's what Caitlin, I think, is asking.
Oh,
Because
I think,
we're
So it'd be 4
changing
o'clock
our.
if we did.
yeah, so I would say either one of those would be fine, probably 4 o'clock. Yeah, either one of those would be
1
fine.
o'clock, okay.
Our meeting with Dan Newhouse, I'm sure, isn't gonna go much further than, 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would be really surprised.
And I don't know if we're getting a tour or not of anything, we haven't been able to set that up, I guess, because it's State of the Union. And that's the same day that is typically the Capitol Hill Day for,
Usually kind of like.
well, it's usually pretty open and people can wander around once they're in the building, but apparently not this time, so. So we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants on this.
But they start locking down and putting stuff in and.
Well, I didn't even think twice about State of the Union until we received an email from the same gentleman saying, hey, just expect security to be really tight because of the presidential address. And I guess they're not even calling it the State of the Union. I guess it's presidential address to Congress because he's doing something different. So nobody knows what to expect.
Well, they will bring, we were there something, I think for Farm Bureau, and they start closing everything down and kind of shooing everybody out. And they just have band, I mean, just more security than I've ever seen.
I know what it looks like when they show up. So, but yeah, anyway.
The outside.
So I think either one of those times would work just fine, whatever works out best for the two of you.
So if either time works just fine, then as long as you two are okay with it, we'll probably just leave it at 2 p.m., how it's normally scheduled. I guess assuming that the ordinance does not get signed. I guess we'll just schedule it depending on whether or not you sign the ordinance tomorrow.
But I mean, you guys are, you're not gonna be here? Oh,
So if it's, the ordinance is signed, but you still, when's it dated to take effect?
which ordinance?
I believe,
From 2 o'clock
Yep.
to 1.
Oh,
I believe that it is dated to be in effect tomorrow. Again, assuming that you guys sign it, I'll have to.
you know what?
Look at
I'm
it.
sorry. And I've got a walk-on item to bring you guys this week. I apologize.
Let me know what it is.
It's the annexation request, the annexation
So walk on number 2.
The annexation, why do I want to say protest? It's not protest, it's petition. The annexation petition to the city of Ephrata. I just forgot to have you guys sign it. You were okay with it, we have to do it, but I just forgot to have the 3 of you sign it. And I need to get it to the city this week before I go if I can.
Okay, I walk on number 2.
Sorry. Did you catch that, Caitlin?
Yes, I did. I'll
Barb's
keep an
got
eye
it.
out for it. Barb has it?
I gave it to her on Thursday of last week,
Cool.
after the deadline.
Oh, wait.
12:30 isn't the deadline at noon.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just 12 at
It
noon.
was, it was after, it was late in the afternoon, I think, that I gave it to her.
Okay, well, I will ask Barb about it, and if not, then Tom, I'll
Let me know
just
and I'll get you a copy.
reach out. Yes. Okay, I will look into that ordinance also. And then we'll just schedule the meeting next week accordingly.
Gosh, I'm locked out again.
Okay. How long is your update with the treasurer? Oh, he's right here. Hey, how are you?
All right.
I just want to confirm that yes, the ordinance is scheduled to take effect upon signature.
Okay, the following week, so you'll be done earlier, so if it's 1 o'clock, it'll be 4 o'clock, and it won't dig into your nightlife. Okay?
Well, yeah, I don't know. No idea what I did.
You be-
Okay.
go to your-
Hard to say what that's.
I'm gonna be right back. I just use the bathroom real quick.
Thank you, Tom, for joining us. Okay, we are in recess until 2 o'clock. We meet with Daryl Pheasant.
People show up
Good
or
afternoon,
so?
it's 2:01. We're here with Daryl Pheasant to have our weekly treasurer's update. Good afternoon, Daryl.
Okay, I'll be fast on some of my parts. Yeah, right now, this TIF, if we have a negative number, then urgency to resolve the other issues of what I wanted to try to redo is no longer a necessity. Because, and then I also learned that we supposedly have different software than all the other counties, PAC software.
What?
Than the other counties. That's what was Matter saying, and that all the problems we're having, and that I didn't know that. And so all these problems I was having, and I go to the other counties, and they said, we're not having those problems, and I couldn't, why us? Well, why us is because we have different software. And so we've been the guinea pig of resolving all the issues, while making me think like we're doing something wrong.
You mean with True Automation or PAX, whatever they're called?
Yes.
We're not the only county in Washington like that.
No, Soton County and Grant County have a different version, of which then, this is why we're having so many problems. And yet I didn't know that.
I didn't know
And
that.
so that's why our letter program doesn't work. All these other major features that we're sold and said how great were, aren't working, and current use isn't working, and all these things. It's just, I would have rethought. That means if you get a new product, then you got to be scrutinizing it way more and not trusting it, which I do not believe is happening from the other office.
Unfortunately, it's up to, when somebody buys a piece of software, the sheriff or it's you, or, you bought software that you needed specifically for your office. I wouldn't be the one to sit there and scrutinize it. I would defer to your expertise and expect that you knew what you were doing.
Right, but then if you're getting different software, you're depending on whatever all the other users' experiences are. But if you're getting something new, then their experiences may not be the same.
And I don't know how deeply somebody wants to dive into this, certainly not me, but go back to the original RFP. When the RFP that was published to select a company to do this should have been incredibly detailed That's one of the few RFPs that you put out that is detailed. It's a 140-page RFP because it details out every little thing that's different. And I don't know that they did that, and that's part of the problem. So because I think True Automation at the time, or when it became PAX, was signatory with DES, and so that made it just a consent letter instead of an RFP.
So, yeah, I have concerns about it complying with the contract, and that we need to talk about the contract regarding it not complying, having features that not comply with state law.
So we need to dig that up.
Yep. So, and I never got input. I was asked for input. I came in at the near end before the contract was signed because she assumed I was going to continue using Terrascan.
So I think you have to be careful there when you talk about complying with state law, because the basis of it, so for PACs to be selectable through the Department of Enterprise Services, okay, that means the state of Washington performed the RFP process. So whatever is being sold by the state of Washington that Missy was able to buy had to have been following state law. Otherwise DES wouldn't have had it something that you could utilize.
But that's assuming the product is the same.
Yeah.
But if the product is not the same, then what happens?
Well, it's kind of, yeah, so it just depends. Without getting totally into the weeds on that, I don't know, what was purchased from DES and what's implemented. Obviously, it's always going to be apples to oranges because every county is different. So it had to have been some kind of a base product, and then you did whatever you needed to for your county. So,
And that's one of the issues. The TIF module works for Clark County.
Yeah.
But our version, it doesn't work per the assessor's office. And so we have a TIF, and we couldn't use the software because it doesn't work.
I think the conversation there is, if all of the problems are known, right? I mean, we know what does and doesn't work. So I guess getting progress reports on getting that stuff fixed is where we should go next.
Right, and that's where my problems, where I wasn't getting return phone calls for months, and still haven't, from some people there who were working on supposedly my concerns, and so now they don't respond to my calls or emails.
You're talking about in the office or with the vendor?
Vendor.
So we probably should look at that contract and then go from there.
Right. So right now the port has different numbers than what PAX gave me. Matt found the PAX numbers included exempt government-owned properties and put fair markets in them. They also treated current use differently. And I don't know how the rules are regarding senior exemptions if we have any of those. So right now we still don't have a clean worksheet until, and I sent an email this morning to DOR, haven't got a response yet to what values are you to use for these scenarios. And we're the largest county in the state with TIFs that has 37 current use parcels that are more complicated, and I don't know. And right now, we're getting numbers they're not logical, but then I don't know the law. And so I don't know if that's what the law intended or not. PAX thinks it is. The vendor, the person who sold the concept to the port thinks it's different. So that's why I got to get DOR to tell me what is the correct answer, and that's what I'm waiting for right now. Because for our TIF, if I can get a negative number, if it is truly an increment negative, then there is no money to disperse this year. If it's positive, then I have a lot of problems because of the software not working and the volume of parcels that we have that are unworkable doing it manually.
Is it not the same software that's going to indicate whether we're negative or positive?
This module somehow doesn't, I'm being told, does not work for the version we have.
So even if it was negative, you would have a big problem because you wouldn't know that you could trust the data?
Right, well, that's why we have to, 472 parcels, go through every single one to try to verify it's right. Now, Matt did a whole bunch of work finding the government ones that were the fair market values and where we believe it should be zero. But I don't know the rules. It sounds like it should be zero, but I gotta verify.
So I think I feel like I'm speaking out of turn here, but I feel like the best thing to do would be have a meeting with Missy and make sure, I mean, I could be in that meeting just to ensure that I'm not missing something in the software or what have you, or if there's a way that I can reach out and push on the vendor, but I'm not gonna have these answers, you know?
No, and Melissa had a good, after our meeting, her meeting, we had a good conversation on things that we thought were logical.
Oh, okay.
But PAX did something different than her. And the port is doing something different than PAX and her. Because the one problem we didn't have was the worksheet that she's supposed to be doing and hasn't been given to us. I've been having to do all this work since over a month ago because I don't have her worksheet.
It's kind of convoluted.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
And so I've been working so hard trying to get answers, and PAX has been dragging until I started talking to someone last week. I've been trying for a month to get answers regarding what does their program do. That impacts me big time. So
Tom, who do we go to find out where that contract might be?
Well, yeah, we should have a copy of it. It should be filed with.
But the PAC software the contract was, is that the one that was extremely thick?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was.
It was like,
That was probably, yeah, close. Well, the Tyler contract was probably 150, 200 pages.
I thought it was like 500 or 600 pages.
I'd be surprised. Well, if you went and got all of the hyperlinks off the internet, then yes. Let me look into that. I can ask Missy. She's probably got a copy of it, and there should be a copy in the DSCC office. So.
I'm locked out of my computers again.
Yeah.
okay, actually, this meeting was for the jail bond board, and we only got 5 minutes left. Okay, we're having a May distribution.
Okay.
I think we've turned in all the information, unless there's some little tidbit that needs to be tweaked a little bit that I'm not aware of for official statement.
Okay.
We're just have a calendar now to start where we're getting close to that time is how much.
Okay.
How much for the morgue and how much for the jail?
Okay.
And what's the latest guesstimates?
Well, so it's not really a guesstimate. I mean, we have 4 buckets we have to look at, okay? We can look at what's been spent and what was in the original bond, okay? So we originally bonded for 89. We know that we're tracking at about 155 million for the entire project, but those soft costs above 132 million are still very much, in a crystal ball. That's the average that it costs over the GMP to take care of all the soft costs that have not been even evaluated or bid out yet. So you have to plan on the 155. Now, that being said, we have to watch the bucket of money for what do we have from the 3/10 in the bank, okay? Do we have 12 million in there, 13 million in there? And how do we use that to offset the 55 million that we were gonna bond for? So we basically had 90 million in bond proceeds. So if we had 10 million sitting in the bank, there's 100, and then we'd have to bond for the 55. Now, we are still tracking about $9.5 million under budget. And that money will come back to us at the end of the project. And we planned on using that for the Law and Justice Building for whatever we were gonna do there, if anything at all. And then that doesn't include the morgue or the roundabout. So the morgue, if I think you need I don't think it's gonna cost us any more than 6 million to build. But I think that if you had, a range of 5 to 10, or if you just wanted to be safe, call it 10 million, then you'd be okay. And some of that might get offset by the monies that come back from.
So if we go,
So you have what we spent, you have what's in the bank right now from our 3/10, okay? And we have what we're gonna bond, what that covers, and then what we consider the more costs to be.
and we could, if we had money left over and did not need it, then we could set that money aside for that.
Yeah. Were you hearing all that? Did all that make sense to you?
I wasn't listening.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all
Sorry.
right. It's all right.
Yeah, so we, you know, what I worry about is getting too much money. But we have an out for having too much money.
I don't think we're gonna have too much money. I think if you bond for either 55 or even 60, we're not gonna have too much. So.
Okay,
but I
well,
know
that would
60 does
mean,
not-
if saying 60,
No, I'm just saying.
no, like, saying 155.
Yeah.
Then that means 66 just for the 89, 66 minus what we want to draw from the cash.
Right.
So say we do 60.
Okay.
Then we have the morgue,
Mhm.
which you're saying around 6. So we're at 66 million total.
Okay.
But but that is a different resource to pay for that, for those debt payments. So,
And I think that is going to be more than enough.
so we're talking, so if we want to draw the fund down to 5 million, if that's, well, that's the goal for a year-end carryover balance, because we have this year's monies coming in as well. And we're behind right now of our revenues for public safety monies.
The 3/10.
Yes.
The 133 account.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Oh, our first month was really bad. Our second month was better than last year, but the comment 2 is still behind the total of first 2 months. But you know, we got 5 million plus the revenues we get for 10 more months, minus the other expenses that happened anyway out of that fund, besides debt payments.
Okay.
Well, we've got the debt payments.
Yeah.
And then we'll have this debt payment. Yep.
It's 2:15. We are supposed to be meeting with New Hope Kids Hope.
Okay, so we're looking at probably 65 million.
I think if you had 60,
55,
I think
well,
if
no,
you-
no. 11, 55, 66,
Come to the
minus
table,
6,
as
60,
Daryl's thinking.
plus 6, 66 million. Okay, then, but then the morgue payments are being paid from someplace else, but the new jail debt would be paid out of the fund. Okay? All right, so because you need to start focusing, but we still want to focus, so we want to tell them 6 million for the morgue.
yes.
Okay?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Because that'll be in a different schedule.
Yeah, 6 million for the morgue, although it might come in at 6.5 or 7, we just have to deal with it.
Figure it out somewhere.
All right, thank you
Okay,
very much.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thanks,
Thank you,
sir.
Tom, for coming in. It's
You were,
2:16.
you were a new face that hasn't heard us throw around all these numbers before, so.
I'm here for Susie.
New Hope Kids
Kids Hope, yes. Alyssa Adolson here for Susie.
Melissa, for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So she wanted me to provide some updates about funding, and I haven't attended any of our previous meetings, so I'm not sure
You're doing great.
how versed you are in the federal funding, state funding, but we are still, so VOCA funds, which we've historically got for on a federal level, are being reduced by 51%. And that will take place in July 1st of this year. And so we've been working really hard, not only on a federal level, but a state level to hopefully get the state to aggregate money on a biennial term to supplement for the federal funding that we are likely to be losing. And so there is still a federal push for the Crime Victims Fund Stabilization Act, which is at the federal level. And then last week we met our senators and our representatives in Olympia, the Kids Hope staff. So Tricia Glenn and myself went to Olympia. Susie was there the week before for the domestic violence, which the state has taken an approach to go at it together. And so the crime victim funds together state includes both New Hope and Kids Hope. And so last week was the Children's Advocacy Center Advocacy Day, and so that's why we went. We had really great meetings with our senators, which was it's the Senate Bill 5362. And they both the Grant and Adams County senators expressed that they support us and they're on board to support us. They both serve in Ways and Means, and that's where that bill is at. And I just got an email on my way here that it's being heard on Thursday at 1:30, so that's really great news. And so we will be signing on pro and, putting our testimony down there for that bill to hopefully move forward. It also has a companion bill in the House, and that one is stuck in appropriations, and it hasn't moved since January, so not a lot of hope for that one. But the Senate bill had to be heard and through by Friday, and we're on Thursday, which is really great. So
1:30, you said 1:30?
1:30 on Thursday, yeah. And let's see, we also had, it's been very waves of oh yay. So Inslee put in his budget like a 20 million bill for crime victims. However, Ferguson has kind of come out and said we're making $4 million cuts across the board. So I don't know that's going to go through. So it's just really important for us to continue to push our senators and reps to get bills approved to help us fund, because it doesn't look good if we can't fund. We're going to end up like a 51% cut in our budget, which is huge. And our
What do you get for VOCA annually? Do you know what?
I should have looked for
No,
us.
I'll look it up right now.
I'm not quite sure. I know that my
You know what
position.
I'll look it up too. I can't remember.
I know that my position, both, I believe, so we're kind of pieced together
Yes, I know you
by
guys
all
are.
different kinds of funds. And I know that for our Children's Advocacy Center, I believe our funds all trickle down essentially from that. So my position, as well as our primary forensic interviewer, her position is pretty much all funded through that source somehow. So my funds trickle down from our state chapter, CACWA, which they get VOCA funds for. And Trisha's position is paid through by that grant. So
It hurts either way.
yeah, oh yeah, it would be a really.
VOCA is $262,026.
Yeah. And they're 51% cut of that. So
So is that VOCA for Adams and Grant, or?
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
You do have some, okay, so you have no, it's not VOCA, sorry, something else. The DOI VOCA or something for 115,000. Do you have a couple different VOCA grants?
Yes, I believe New Hope is funded a
So
couple
is it
different.
all the VOCA, DV VOCA?
Yep.
What's the DOI?
Department
of. The way home when I'm driving, or tonight when I'm in bed, I'm like, oh, that's what it is, June.
I can't.
No, you're.
I am
fine.
just learning. I'll be very honest. And in school, I took some classes in grant funding and legislative stuff, but I haven't really messed with it since until now. And
Department
so
of Justice. I'll bet it's DOI.
I think you're probably right. It is probably the Department of Justice.
Cheaters on here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's a J. No.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Department of Justice.
Justice, probably.
SA, so that'd be sexual assault core prevention. So that is a big hit.
It's huge. Mm-hmm. There's centers across our state that will probably have to shut their doors if there's not a fix for this funding. So
I'm sure it'll all get straightened out at some point.
I hope so. We sure have been putting in like work. Like last week was a really, I mean, it felt really good to go in there and meet with them and get their support. We also, and I brought some copies, but we also had our partners write letters for the Children's Advocacy Center portion, but write letters of the impact it would do to their work. And I have copies if you guys would like those, and you could read at a different time, but it was nice to be able to get some of that, you know, read these, brought tears to our eyes just to know.
Okay, so note to self, don't read it here.
Right.
Don't really look like I'm walking out of the funeral.
The last two I do believe are.
Wow, you've got a lot of letters, okay.
Yeah, and what happened is because Susie went the week prior, we wanted to be able to present a little differently to the reps and senators. And so I had emailed our partners a week before. So the week before last, I emailed and asked if they'd be willing to, and all of those came. So it was really cool. So, and then just an update for Kids Hope would be that we did serve 232 kids with forensic interviews last year, which is the highest number that we've ever served since we've started. And that doesn't include all of the other services, the mental health services, those sort of pieces. It's just forensic interviews. So that was a big increase.
You know what you did the year before? Was it like 170?
We have hovered around 200.
Okay.
So it probably, I can't, 207 or something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And 232 is really high. That's a lot for a forensic interviewer to do. I'm a backup, but it's a lot for her. So, and it's a lot for Valor, because he's in most of those. So, and we are working on our accreditation. So we were nationally accredited in 2019, and that's due this year. So Susie and I are really busy working on those pieces. I think we have to submit our application in April. And it's a very big process. So we are working on that. Susie had a question regarding one of our grants is a STOP grant from the Department of Commerce, and it's for both grant. That grant just comes in as both Grant and Adams County. You guys have already approved that grant. It's like a $33,000 grant, but in that grant, the Department of Commerce accidentally swapped the amounts. So they put Adams County at 18,000 and Grant at 15, and it should have been Grant at 18 and Adams at 15. And so now they have to make an amendment to that grant, and she's asking whether she can have your approval to just DocuSign the amendment that all it does is swap those dollar values, or does she need to go through the formal process to do that?
That'd be a question for Barb. Barb, what would you like?
I feel that that is a big enough change that it should go through the formal process.
All right.
Thank you, Barb.
I think that's all that I have, unless you have any questions.
No, thanks for those letters.
All right, yeah. Do you want me to leave Rob's copy?
Yeah,
I know.
if you want to, you can have that. You can put it right here on this.
Here.
So on the application, they just put,
It's just the dollar value. It's the same dollar value, so it's 33,000. It doesn't change. They just designated Adams County to get 18,000 and Grant to get 15.
Okay.
And so they just need
a correction.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
It'll be the exact same.
Same exact contract, nothing else
Do you know when
changed.
it's coming through? Is the DocuSign ready right now?
Yes.
So do you mind doing a walk-on, so submitting it so we can do a walk-on tomorrow and then we're not, because I know how these work. If you don't sign them in the first, like, 5 days.
We're not gonna be here next week to sign it, so.
So
Okay.
we can do a walk-on.
Walk on tomorrow. Okay, yeah.
If you can get it to Barb, so let me put this here right now.
Sorry, I just want to confirm, just from our conversation at the last meeting. I thought we were having the commissioners meeting next week. So you would be here next week to sign it. We'd talked to Rob and he had said that, or not Rob, sorry, Tom, but Rob, please weigh in. He had said that if we had scheduled the commissioners meeting, that it looked like Rob would be free to log on.
Yeah, I'll be able to get on. It'll be 5 o'clock there. So commissioner meeting shouldn't take more than 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm good stepping out or whatever for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think Tom put you down for if we have the 1 o'clock meeting, or if you guys have the 1 o'clock meeting, it'd be 4 o'clock your turn. But as far as a walk-on, since it's basically, it's already been approved, Susie's ready to sign. If we do a walk-on tomorrow, it's basically same thing, just correcting the dollar amount. Then we don't have to wait and wait.
Sure.
So if you
That
don't
sounds
mind,
great. Yeah.
do that, and it's from Commerce?
It's from it's the STOP grant from the Department of Commerce.
Okay. We can get that. It's just basically a cleanup.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get that. We have 3 walk-ons tomorrow. Okay, thank you. It is 2:29. We are in recess until 2:30. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. It is 2:30. We are here with the clerk's office
Yes.
for our weekly update.
Well, it'll be pretty short and sweet. Kim is at conference right now for the whole week.
In Tri-Cities?
No, I believe it's on the west side somewhere. She is unavailable except for text, but she told me before she left that she doesn't have any issues this week or anything new to bring up, so.
I was just thinking Tri-Cities because I went to it last year, I believe, because they had the situational awareness training, which was super good.
Yeah, she has so many conferences
Okay.
that go on during the springtime that she's just goes everywhere.
Good.
So
I don't
that's,
have anything for the clerk's office.
I can't think of anything.
Thank you for joining us.
you're welcome.
Let you leave early and get on with your day.
Yes,
It's
it's
good
a
seeing you.
little hectic up there.
Okay, it is 2:31. We are in recess until 3. Good afternoon, it's 3 o'clock. We are here with Crystal from Superior Court. Welcome, Crystal.
Hello. I really don't have much of an update. The one thing that I am doing tomorrow and Wednesday is I'm going to be interviewing for the judicial assistant bailiff position that we're getting. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, so it's one position, your
Yes,
bailiff?
yes. So it's a slash, yes, their title. So hopefully we're going to get someone starting within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So that's really our biggest news that I'm
Do you have some
very
good
excited.
applicants?
Yeah, we got quite a few.
Good.
So I was very happy about that. You just never know anymore, so.
I know.
Yeah, so I was really looking forward to that, and that's really our big thing. Otherwise, we're just chugging along, doing what we normally do day to day. We haven't had a jury trial for a couple of weeks, so that's been a nice reprieve.
Glad to hear that, because I'm on jury duty on the 26th.
Oh, well,
I thought
lucky
you were
you.
on duty last week.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you get a
Did you get
couple
called?
dates. No, you wouldn't have been called a couple weeks ago.
Is it Superior Court or District Court?
Very cool.
Okay.
You won't have to report this week either. I can tell you that already. So
Okay,
that's,
you're off the hook. You don't have to wait till 4:30.
yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So other than that,
Plan my day
yeah, you can plan other things now. So otherwise, I have nothing new to report.
How
From the
many
last time I was
applicants
here.
did you guys get?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How many applicants did you guys get?
18.
Wow, you did.
Yes,
Holy.
I thought that was a lot because the
That is
last
a
few
lot.
openings we've had, I've maybe had 10, 12 applicants. So there was 18 this time. I was very happy. So, yeah, we have some good ones in there. So I'm hoping to.
You feel like there a pay increase or duties change?
Well, no, because this is a brand new position
Okay.
that we've never had before. So
But
I'm
you
not.
had your admin assistant.
Yes,
Was
yeah,
there a
and
pay
I
increase from the admin assistant?
no.
Okay.
No. And I don't know really the qualifications were pretty low. We didn't have a lot in there, so I don't know if more people just applied because there wasn't many requirements to apply for it, but I think we got really great applicants.
Are they
There's
all
a-
in-house or out?
No, there was no internal, so they're all out.
Okay.
Wow.
So a lot of people with bachelor's degrees and good work experience, so I was impressed. So I'm hoping to get someone good. Mhm.
That'd be nice.
Yep, it will be. That's it. Do you guys have
Did
any
you find a
questions?
spot to put this employee?
Yes,
Okay.
they are going to be going in, I don't know if you remember where Lynette used to be. Yes, they'll be in that old office. So, which I'm sure you heard about.
Closet, you mean?
The
Yeah, I'm
closet.
like thinking, okay,
I've only been
Yes.
here for a couple of months and I've heard about the
The
closet.
closet.
it is kind of old.
It's not
It's-
real great working conditions. Let's just say
It's
that.
small.
It's very, very small. You have no window because it's at the very
Don't
top
they
of the
have a-
stairwell.
But don't they have a window in the door?
Yes. Yeah, but no
Slash,
natural light.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it works.
Oh, can't have everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a space. I was terribly worried about it one day, hopefully, when we get our remodel, whenever that will be.
Well, that's how our office was up here. We didn't know it was snowing until we walked outside and went into our office, like, did you know it's snowing? Well, we don't always see, yeah, we've got to leave, but I mean, you can see right out here if it's snowing.
Mm-hmm. I was
Yeah.
telling Kevin it's been raining out there. He said he didn't know.
Yeah, no, we don't always see because you're like,
Yeah, you can't really see out there.
we need a view. Well, we get distracted probably just enough with everybody walking by, but we
Sure.
don't want to know who's lurking around the halls. Sometimes we do have some that we need to be mindful of.
Yes, you do. Yeah. So that's it. Do you
Well,
guys have
thank
any
you.
questions for me?
Hi, it's
No?
Jamie.
Okay.
Excited you have 18 applicants, so that's good.
I
Pretty
know.
cool to pick from.
Yeah, it's, very, very good. Mhm. Yep.
Well, That's
All right.
it. It is 3:04. We are in recess until 3:15.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you get a 10-minute.
Moses Lake hosted the 2B Central Washington, so it was Cleellum teams and
Okay.
Brewster and Tenasket, Mabton, a whole bunch of them, so.
Basketball.
Yeah, that went over a whole week, so, but Saturday there was 3 games, so.
Was it like AAU or was it?
No, it's high school,
Okay,
moving on to the next level. so.
districts.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Moses Lake Gym was packed, so it brought a lot of people into town.
You know, on the district games that we're trying to figure out who's their who the district champs are.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
In states this weekend.
Yes.
Good afternoon. It is 3:15. We are here with our district court weekly update. Welcome.
Hello. I did not send you an agenda. I apologize. I forgot.
You're not the only one, so
It's been
a
no
rough
worries.
Yeah, right. Remembering weekly has been a little bit different, but no Mr. Jones today.
No, he is not feeling well.
I
don't even know.
give you an extra for him.
Okay.
He'd be responsible for that. We'll be doing an out-of-state travel request for Alma to travel to Florida for the National O-Rise Conference in May. So I'll be putting that on for consent for you guys next week. All expenses are fully grant funded. I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah, I was gonna look to see what the All Rise National Conference is about.
Therapeutic courts.
Yep.
They're what?
Therapeutic courts.
Oh, okay.
So they require us.
When you said that therapeutic, I thought you said they're beautiful courts.
Yeah, they're-
Oh.
No, that's not what you said. Therapeutic.
Who's going this year?
I
We're not
don't
sending
remember.
everyone, but we're sending a group. Defense is going, a person from
Iris,
defense,
yeah,
person from the prosecutor's office.
and someone from the jail, right? Isn't the jail person
Yes.
going? Yeah.
Derek J. from the jail's going, and then as to represent law enforcement.
Here's just staying at the Gaylord Palm Springs Resort and Convention Center in Florida.
Well, apparently there are no rooms available there, so their group agreed to a VRBO, which is cheaper than an alternate hotel.
7,000 attendees.
Yeah, it's huge.
It
We
was-
went in
There's a lot
Houston a
going on.
couple of years ago and
It's close to 8,000 people.
it's massive. You don't imagine how big that is until you're in the conference room with all of them and it's just this giant stadium and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you've got, for the leaders, the policymakers, the stakeholders, the legal treatment, social service fields, and even veteran communities. Wow.
So you guys have been to it?
We went to the one in Houston. I think the whole team went to the one in Houston. We got the funding directly for that, and they encourage us all to go, but it's hard to have everyone go on at the same time, so we kind of split it up this year. I think, well, next year it'll be the others who didn't go back and forth. One of the things that I feel is more valuable is the more personalized training. They have more personalized ones for positions. So I've been to the judge one. We've had almost been to the individualized one. This one's more of a group collaborative type thing. You still go to the ones that are kind of fit your area, but I really like the ones that are 1 week intense, and they usually, well, we selected, I think last year, the prosecutor was supposed to go, but he didn't end up going. So, but every other year they do those too, so.
And the national conference, I feel, is like a big, trying to think of the right, like a motivational event too. Like it's very like rah rah and, just hypes everyone up. And so a lot of it is geared towards that too, I think.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were strongly encouraged to send people using our funds, just because that's part of the reason why they give the funds, is because it's part of the training. So.
We've
Gosh,
actually
I'm
been,
looking at everybody involved. You've got, like Melissa Fitzgerald, Martin Sheen, and then Olivia Pope, who I'm not sure who she was, but she was on Scandal. No, you've got some heavy hitters in the.
I think Martin Sheen was our spokesman the year we went.
I was just looking at 2024. He was here. Yeah, just kind of the recap. And then they had Celebrity Jeopardy, and one of the winners donated all his funds to help with scholarships for people to attend.
Yeah, so almost going from our direct route.
Yep.
A great experience. It looks like it's a.
They'll be busy. I don't know if they'll have
Very well.
time for anything else.
That's usually how those conferences work.
Yeah.
morning tonight
Well, I
and then
think it's
you're
close to
done.
Orlando, so I think everyone, sometimes people get all that.
Like a run into Disneyland.
Yeah, but I'm like, I think the location's at least a half an hour away, so it's not gonna be easy.
Well, if you do have a break, it's usually minimal, that you're gonna go like just take a tiger snooze or something.
Right.
Because you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And I usually run off.
I have a bunch of conferences. The other problem is it's the same week as I think the judges conference.
Where's that at?
Early's really close anyways. Where is your conference
Yes,
this
I
year?
don't
Do you
know. They haven't declared it
But it's
yet.
here in the States somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes,
Usually
but I'm-
They pick a spot like Easter.
And then Moses Lake decided to put their graduation on a Tuesday night, and I have to go, so.
A Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, 6 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do they get a really good discount on it?
I don't know.
or something?
Well, I think it's still at Lions Field, I mean, so.
Oh. Yeah,
I don't
usually
have
it's on
any
a
idea why they
Friday
did
or
it.
Saturday.
I heard a rumor it was for some sports, but I don't know if that's true or not. Like it may have interfered with the way that district baseball and track or something ended, but I don't know. So, who knows? But it's
End
Tuesday.
of May, is that on the end of May?
It's
Graduation?
June 2nd or whatever the
Okay.
Tuesday, first week in June, whatever the Tuesday's on. We we're onboarding 2 new clerks starting next week.
Yeah, one next Tuesday, March 4th, and then the second one on March 10th. And then we are doing background and employment authorizations on 2 others. So we'll be onboarding 4 by mid-April. And then we have our group that's on probation, so we've got a green group. It's gonna take us a little bit to become fully efficient again, but we will get there.
We're slowing down a little bit because we don't have any prosecutors either, so, in our court. We're down to one in each courtroom.
We are, yes, trying to figure out how to.
Mr. McCray did come to me and mentioned the ability for us to work with potential people who he hires, potentially that could maybe only work from home or remote.
Yeah.
So I said, we're supportive of anything that gets the job done, essentially.
Well, it sounded like they would have a prosecutor in, like, a person there. I mean, a prosecutor.
Yeah.
But maybe the person.
Superior Court's been doing it for quite a while. I don't think there's a whole lot of people appearing in court. And so what happens is they designate someone to make sure the paperwork gets there, because we need the paperwork. But as long as the paperwork's there and done, usually we survive it. And so it's hard to kind of justify it, especially when you're here about doing remote, because you can just literally walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
But if the person that they're hiring lives somewhere else, and that's the only
This
person.
might help because we're having a problem in public defense and.
Yeah, and ironically, someone who used to work here and I supervised in district court is currently living in Oregon and prosecuting cases in Montana.
Oh, so they're doing that too.
Yeah,
so
they're doing it. So I said, how does that work? And she kind of told me, and she says,
great.
Yeah, it does work
They
great
don't
for
know
her.
where I live.
Yeah. So it's become a trend. The other thing that was really ironic, and we're feeling the effects of it, both sides, public defense and prosecutor, and then the court feels it. But they came out with an article in the Bar News today about the prosecutors not being able to get people, and if they can, they're not staying. And so there's a pretty good little article, but not very encouraging article about people.
It's been tough. So if it's something like that could work, but it sounded like there would be one prosecutor in person.
Yeah, and Desiree and I just on the way down here, we're talking about like we're gonna have to probably cancel because we have the newer prosecutors are in our courtroom, so they have trainings that they need to go to, and I think they were gonna try to work it out, and we just found out that there's probably a week of court we're gonna have to shut down just because they're not there. Which is fine. We've kind of planned for it, but we just the reality of how things have changed has made us have to adapt a little bit, but we'll carry on, figure it out. So prosecutors made some adjustments with some of their filings and things like that as well too. So dismissing a lot of less important cases and focusing more on the most important ones. So.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had one of those less important cases, I'd be really excited. Like, I'm okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So when they dismiss those, they dismiss them for good, yeah.
No, not always. So they could, if they dismiss them without prejudice, that means they can refile them if they want to. One of the most common cases we see that gets refiled is DUI, especially if there's a blood or a breath test. And it happens all the time in the bigger counties and cities is they will file the charge and then dismiss it right out of the gate just because they can't really proceed if there was a test because it takes a while to get that testing back. So a lot of times they'll wait, dismiss the case, and then wait till it comes back and then refile. And so they have 3 years to refile. So sometimes they'll wait to get those test results before they go forward.
And if they don't have those, they don't.
They can go without them. It's a little tougher, but they can go without them. I've seen cases where they've had nothing but the officer's observations. So it's a little more tough, but I've still seen people get convicted of just that. So, but anyway, I think they're just kind of really weighing what they have and what they don't in terms of what they're bringing because they need the manpower to do it. So it'll affect us a little bit. Not too much. Not yet anyway.
We shall see.
Yeah.
How it all shakes out. Hopefully.
The only update that we were kind of looking for was to see where we're at with the security thing. We've kind of come the last couple of weeks and We were like waiting to hear something from the sheriff. But I don't know if they've,
Security.
yeah.
The court security grant.
The court security
Oh.
grant.
Rob had mentioned something, but I couldn't recall what it was. It was in passing and he'll update us today, but he's not here, so next week
Barbara's
or
Rob
week
on.
after.
He did get on earlier, but I don't see where he's on.
Rob is not online right now.
Thank you, Caitlin.
I'll see if I can pin him down and ask him.
Send him an email.
Yeah, you should answer, because he would be here like later today, but.
Sounds good.
And nothing next week. We're off next week.
You're off the hook next week.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. That's when we'll have all the problems, right?
Better not.
Just
I'm too busy. Too busy for problems.
Yeah. You're the only one here? I'm not here next week. I'm not here the end of this week.
Right.
There you go, party.
Hmm.
Come back and it's like.
You were gonna be on your own on Monday, because I'm gone Monday.
Next Monday? Oh,
But now it's canceled, so you don't have to do it on your own.
yeah.
Is Brett outside the door?
What's that?
Oh, is Brett Hill outside the door?
Oh, he might be, is he next? Yeah, it's time for us to, yeah, so our time's up. He's next.
Wait a minute.
Don't know much
You know,
else.
if Superior Court or District Court was to stop stealing attorneys from or employees from the prosecutors or the Office of Public Defense.
We took one.
I feel like there was a couple.
Well, I'm one of them,
Okay, two.
from back in the day.
That was your fault. You hired
We
him.
kind of like a roundabout. Yeah, Amy. I thought there was another one. Maybe.
But Amy worked with you guys before she
Yeah.
came here. You can't blame that one on.
Oh, we'll take.
You technically
partial
took her.
We'll take a little bit of responsibility for that.
I know. We need to like make a pact that we don't steal each
I
other's
thought there was
people.
another. Maybe it was. I can't remember who the last one was that left. Brett was getting a little frustrated. We're stealing his people.
Well, Cody left us to go there, so.
Okay. He gained one. But I was thinking he lost.
We had two people. He had two people at once that left
Mm-hmm.
the clerk's office and he hired.
Who else?
Was it?
He'll be able to tell you when he walks in.
I don't remember.
We don't want to bring it up. I don't want to irritate him.
Well, you guys have anything else?
No, thank you for joining
All
us.
right.
Thank
See you in
It
2
looks like
weeks.
this
Yeah.
training looks fantastic, so.
It'll be fun.
It is 3:30. We are in recess until Brett Hill.
Sounds good.
He could be in court. You never know. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you. Good afternoon. It is 3:30. We're here with Brett Hill from the Office of Public Defense. Welcome, Brett.
Well, hello. I don't know how much you want to get in our business, but we got, a little bit of good news. We
Well,
interviewed.
share.
Yeah, we interviewed a Rule 9, which is a law student that wants to come and work for us in the summer. So that's a little bit of recruiting
Where are
news.
they
That's
from?
good. Going to University of Oregon. I'm not 100% sure where he's from. Sort of interesting. I think he was born in Iraq. His parents emigrated when he was young. There's no sign of any kind of an accent or anything, but seems like a pretty sharp fellow. And of course, this comes through that rural recruitment program through Office of Public Defense. So the good news is they got to figure out how we get it all paid for, but I think we pay them, but we can get reimbursed from OPD. And they have a stipend for him for housing, so hopefully all of it gets paid for by OPD. Of course, we have a budget for that anyway, but we'd just soon let OPD pay it. Because that's what it's for, that's what they're
And
doing.
maybe he'll love Grant County and want to stay here.
Well, he was excited, I think, to come and see what, life in the country's like, Some people love that experience and some people just don't, so we'll see. We do also have another bit of good news. I've got to get, we're hoping to get it on the consent agenda next week, but Paulette Burgess, who has been a contractor in the past for us, she has not been for probably 3 or 4 years. We have an agreement in principle at this point, and she wants to come back to work and do district court work.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she leave to go work?
She went to Texas.
Okay.
But she's been back and working. She's doing a little bit of stuff in Stevens County, but it's not much.
Doesn't she live in Spokane? Okay.
She does.
She does a good job. I mean, it just seems like.
Yeah, she's been a real reliable contractor. Yeah, so we are kind of excited. As fast as we can get her.
So Kevin was just mentioning that he has requested a couple of attorneys to. Basically, he's going to retire. He's going to try to go out and hire them, but it'll be a remote attorney instead of having to come and work here in Grant County, hoping that maybe he can recruit that way. Oh, that'd be great.
Seems like a tough way to do criminal litigation, but
I think it's for his
but
support.
you can, I guess you do what you got,
Well, you'll find out.
Do as best you can, I mean,
go into a district court and you find out that, hey, well, one attorney apparently has to be in there, but the other, they can help.
Well, you kind of do to deal with paperwork and, that sort of thing. Yeah, it could be possible. I mean, we kind of do it with some of the attorneys, our superior court attorneys, because they're more online right now than district court. And we're doing it quite a little bit in juvenile court where the defense attorneys, at least, appear by Zoom. For the defense, it's not truly ideal because it's better to be there with your client. I mean, face to face is always better. But yeah, we do what we can do. Yeah, and so
Welcome back.
Yeah. I was excited. I've been kind of after her a little bit because she's been in Spokane, and I know that she's been kind of. I think she bought she bought some real estate or something, and she wants to fix it up, so she's been kind of distracted, but ready to go again. Probably because it costs a lot more to remodel than she thought.
She's supposed to go back to work.
Right. She thought it would be easy to remodel. But yeah, I mean, so those are some good news. That's some good news. Other than that, I guess I got a call from somebody at the state auditors that are concerned that our contractors are employees. I think it's a colossal waste of time to even look at it.
Does somebody file a complaint or how?
No, I think it's just a new auditor that's auditing. But I talked with Michelle quite a little bit about it. But yeah, I believe our contracts are rock solid as non-employees. I mean, I'm familiar with all the indicias of that employee-employer relationship, and we're always careful of drafting our contracts that way. The Dolan case, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but the Dolan case in King County, it was public defenders. And the Dolan case found that they were in fact employees. But King County was requiring a lot of things of them. And so, you use that case as a benchmark to be sure that contractors are contractors. So anyway, like I say, I'm quite 100% confident, pretty much 100% confident that we're up to snuff, but for some reason, that particular auditor is looking close at it. But, yeah. So at any rate, yeah, that's kind of my news.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's business as usual. We're plugging along and doing our thing. You know, the normal headaches, we've had quite a few headaches the last couple weeks. Fairly normal stuff.
Probably have that a lot in public defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, lots of, complaints, and you know, people don't get what they want, so they blame it on us,
They're the ones who got themselves in trouble.
Yeah, right.
And it's your fault you didn't get them off, right?
Right, I mean, it's that kind of thing, or, yeah, I mean, I there's various reasons people complain, but we, we deal with it. I talk to them and we log it and do the best we can. So anyway, yeah, questions?
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Keep those people coming.
Yeah, pretty excited. In fact, I am aware of a person who lives here in Ephrata that has been practicing law remotely and is tired of what they're doing. And so so hopefully we have the inside track on her to recruit. Not 100% sure that she's quite ready to make the move to government work yet, but maybe, yeah. I think benefits are a big thing to her, so that would be.
Might be a good time for her to do it then.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, if we could do that, if we can get these 2 or 3 things lined up, that'll be a big boon to us. And hopefully somebody else doesn't leave quick.
Sorry, I'm locked out. I'm just this has been locked out of my computer most of the day.
Telling you, better tell TS to get you a new laptop.
Computers keeping you out, huh?
Yeah, I think it's the system here. If I go upstairs and downstairs when I come in, I should just.
I never have any issues.
No, I'm just lucky. So lucky.
Sounds good.
Frustrating, yeah.
There's the queen with me, haunting me.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna go jump back into what I was doing.
Okay, it's 3:40. We are in recess until 3:45.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. It's 3:45. We are with the prosecutor's office for their weekly update. Welcome.
Okay, I think we probably need an executive session. How long do you think we need? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it will be
Litigation.
So we're going to go in from 3:45 to 3:55 for litigation, RCW 423110 1I. Okay, 3:45. Okay, it's 3:55. We are out of executive session. No formal decision was made.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
Sure.
Did you have anything, Kevin?
Well, actually, I
Would
probably
you
need
like your
another
meeting
5-minute executive session just to go over the case where I got sued. So.
Okay.
So we're going back into executive session from 3:56 to 4 o'clock.
Cindy, I'm so sorry. What is the RCW for the executive session?
Litigation, RCW 423110 1I. We're going in until 3 o'clock for litigation. 4
o'clock.
4 o'clock. Oh, it's 4 o'clock.
There we go.
We are out of executive session. No decision was made. No formal decision was made. And we are in recess until tomorrow at 8:30.
Thank you.